Hello and welcome to Trucking Answers. It's Mark, and it's Monday at 1 p.m. Here we are again. Everybody is here, I see already, and the weather has turned much better than it was last Monday as I hit the microphone, and we are going to get going. There's lots to talk about. The New Hampshire motorcycle crash back in the news. Remember that? When that guy killed those motorcyclists? All right. Fox News is getting something wrong. What a surprise. I-40 is closed for 5 days. I've got a detour for you. It'll only take you an extra 45 minutes. Al Gore's funding trucking. Can you believe it? Companies take your last check, do they? Has that ever happened to you? We have so much more to talk about what is happening out there. So what is going on? Let's see as I do this. Don't forget, of course, it's Roller Wiener Monday. Every Monday, get your wieners out and let's start listening to the show. All right. So what's going on? Let me click this. And for people that are new to the show, I'm not very good at doing all this stuff. So I do the best I can. And here we go. So let's see. That's going there. And I get this back up. And there we go. All right. So thank you. Wild Bill on Wednesday was the first one that I saw. Today, Michael Muller was first. Thank you for being here today. And depending when you click in or whatever, I may or may not see the name that's on there. I just never know. So you just don't know what, when it comes up, stuff like that. Trucker Hershey, what's going on today? Al Johns is here. Hello. Nomad Trucker, you're going to have to take Mondays off? Absolutely. So Wild Bill is already on the show. Michael Cole. Yeah, we had Steel Horse sometimes is on here, and that is the expert that you are looking for. So I think that was you talking about that. Probably missed up what we're talking about. Right. Henning couldn't leave the loves. Right. Cash is King, what's happening? Good to see you today. Boy, you had a good week, didn't you? Yikes. Too bad there's no money in trucking. Yikes. Sean Daniels, hello. What's going on? Jason, 65 out. That's just super great. It's 38 here today in beautiful Lafayette, Indiana. Kenneth P. breaking out the wieners, of course. Always have your wiener out when you're listening to the show. So, Kane, let's see. Where am I? Gustavo, cheap freight. He's wants to leave the cheap freight, but what exactly is cheap freight? That's a very good question. Todd. That's who it was, right? How to get warning tickets off, right? That is Steel Horse, so that can help out with that. The Kerminator, I love it. Where am I? New people, right? I lose my spot all the time on here because the thing flicks around. Big huge Mike, hello for being here. GP Transco, it's good to see you. Did you finally get the snow cleaned up there? You guys really got a good slaying of it. Columbia George, hello. It's time for Roller Wiener break. I got your email. Thank you for that, Jordan. It's Roller Wiener Monday, yes. And we're going here to Healthy Highwayman is here. Hello. What's going on? Sam from Denver. Going to go home for a reset. What's going on out there in Denver today? Probably that seems like the country cleared up from that disaster. Trucker Hershey's going to make the big bucks. Turn your camera on. I should be on, right? Yes. Okay. So you guys see Uber trying to, where am I? Right. Yeah. Okay. So I'm looking here. I'm on. I don't click around enough. Let's see. Did you see Uber trying to get out of AB5? Yes. Say it wasn't aimed at Uber. Uber, Lyft, and one of the other ones, there's three, are putting $30 million each into it to get out of it, $90 million. Who's really trying to get out of it is the California Trucking Association is trying to get out of it. And I've got some information that Fox News put out about that. I think it's pretty interesting. AB5 might be coming to New Jersey as well. It's going to spread around the country. So the people leasing a truck, those are the ones that have the biggest issue with this, certainly, because that's going to affect you maybe a lot. Luke started today at midnight. Oh, man, I had a terrible week last week, too. I hear you. Ruth, hello. Donovan at 68 in Carrollton, Texas. Beautiful. I missed a couple Mondays being in the Philippines. Adam, you were in the Philippines? What you doing out in the Philippines? That's where my dad was stationed at one of the bases out there in the Philippines during when he was in the service. So he learned some of the language, like 6 words. Love for being there a couple years. Todd. It's Todd Lancer. Are you going to go to Effingham? One of my favorite truck stops there in Effingham. Chrome Daddy, hello. Roger Penske is here. I'm glad to see you. Trucker Dave, Maine. Right, greetings from Wisconsin. That's great. James sitting at the Loves in Bordentown, New Jersey. Yikes. At least you found a parking place. Fleet Nav Systems is back. It's good to see you back here. The Barbecue Trucker, what's going on? Troy, hit the like button. I appreciate that. Al, yikes. James Dowdy, what's happening? John Staniszewski, right? Hello there. My wife would appreciate that name. GP Transco is on Instagram. You should see their Instagram. If you haven't looked at their Instagram, they have great pictures out there. So you spent the last 3 weeks, spent 20 days on a well site in Wyoming, back in Minot. Wow, 10 days off. That should have paid good. It's good to see you back here, homewrecker. Keep up the good work from South Carolina. Thank you very much. I appreciate it. 57 in Memphis. At least it's a little warmer. The ELD change in December, right? December 16th, last day, will change to drive as soon as wheels move. No, it's like 3 miles an hour here. I think the limit is 5 miles an hour before the wheels start, before it changes over. And there's some kind of distance limit on it, too. So you can't, like, creep around at 4 miles an hour, for an hour. Had paid parking last night and just move across to free on a 34. Yeah, that's a problem on an ELD. Depending on how far you're moving and how fast you go, we'll change it to drive time of that. Jesse, good afternoon. You're delivering in Plimpton, Massachusetts. Wow. I hope you get right out of there. City trucker in New York City. At least you're being paid on the clock, I hope. Dwayne, hello there. Romulo, what's going on? Well, Bill asks who I drive for. I always look at the clock. I don't know why when I see that, but I never get that question very often, so that's good for new people out there. I don't ever say who I drive for. That keeps them out of my videos. So many people also out here on YouTube are just out here only to recruit for their company. Why? Because they give you big bonuses, sometimes thousands of dollars. I also don't recruit for my company. So it keeps them out of videos and keeps me out of recruiting. I think we're better off that way. Carlos from Florida, you're in Texas. Yikes. New policy, we don't make... All right, GP Transco, new policy. We don't want to make driver-facing cameras mandatory, so we're making them an option to company drivers, which gives a 2-cent bonus. Look, if people have the choice and they want to decide that, I'm all for choice, right? So no problem. And I think that companies that have a policy where it says, look, we don't have this camera unless you start making a problem, like you get tickets or something, that's fair too. I think that's fair. So for me personally, that's fair. What does everybody think about that? If people want to have it on and get a bonus, that's certainly their choice, certainly. I'm all for it. Trucking Journeys is here. Your Pete broke down. What the heck? In Cincinnati, been in a 13 Freightliner, currently in Chicago. I hear you. I had that 14 Freightliner, which I still have, right? So just not super great. Your 13 Freightliner is probably better shape than the one I had. Thanks, Bill. I appreciate that. It's hot in California, 90 degrees. Alex, Red Monkey Trucking is here. Hello, what's happening? Man, you guys are putting out the videos. People should go check you out. Thanks for being here today. Roger Penske, lease operators have never been independent. You can't haul non-company freight. They'd freak it using a trailer law contract. Oh, absolutely right, Roger Penske. Yeah, they call lease operators, where if you're leasing the truck from the company, okay, let's put it like that, because you can lease a truck outside from the company and be an independent that way. When you're leasing the truck from the company, you're not an independent contractor, in my opinion, anyway. You haul their freight, their trailer, all that. Good luck saying, oh, you know what, I got a little time off, I'm going to go haul some other freight with this equipment that I'm paying for. Good luck with that. That's what an independent person would be able to do. JJ, has anyone ever done a U-turn on a 4-lane wide on-ramp because the interstate got shut down and is backed all the way up? No, but I guess if it's allowed, I'm all for it. I've turned across the interstate where the police are directing you across it because it's closed. Because I thought about that and I go, I wonder how an autonomous truck would do that. Because there's a cop standing there making us turn around in one of these wide turnarounds. So I wonder what a truck would do. What's up with the motorcycle crash? Christina, hello there. So the motorcycle crash in New Hampshire, the company that insures the trucking company, which has $1 million of insurance, says, look, we don't know how to divide the money up between all the people that are wanting money from us. So they have gone to court and said they want a court to decide how the money is going to be divided up. And because there's a $1 million policy, so that which they know they're going to already pay. They're already being sued for way more than that, although I don't know why, because they have a limit on their policy. Anyway, they're saying to the court, look, we can't decide if this person gets 100, this person gets 150. We want the court to decide it. So they brought that to court, and the court is going to have to decide how that $1 million is divided up. And after that, the company is closed, and that's probably going to be it, divided up between everybody. Probably the $1 million will be the end of it. Michael Cole, can you have them facing out only or both by default? Let's see what they say about that. I'll be joining J.R. Schugel. Oh, really? Let me know how that goes over there, City Trucker. Why are you going to go to J.R. Schugel from what you're doing now? I'm always curious, when anybody changes companies, what is it that, what are they saying? What's bringing you there? If it's something great, other people might like to know about it. Andrew, what's up? Loading acid wagon in Hawthorne, New Jersey. Where is that going to go out to? Marty, the AOBRD is not going anywhere in December. Only glider trucks and have to call. Okay, right. So most trucks, let's put it that way. Any truck that, has to have an ELD will have to have it December 16th. Let's put it that way. There are trucks that are exempt because they're too old or they're gliders or whatever that will not have to have an ELD. That is true. Big Huge Mike, it's going to be fun. You do 600 miles a night, so can't wait for the ELD. Look, depending on what you're doing, I have people write to me all the time, Mark, I do 650 miles or whatever, so it's certainly possible. Trucking Journeys, right. It's a good policy if you want to implement it and that has controversy. Using a pay incentive will definitely help. Look, I don't have any problem with that. Any policy, they say, here's the deal. If you don't want to do this, here's your pay. And if you want to do it, here's your pay. It's still up to the driver to decide that. Absolutely. I actually kind of like that deal. I wish more companies did it that way because some drivers will take it for the 2 cents. Some will. That's a couple of grand a year. Some of them. That's a curious question. How many people would take the 2 cents and turn the camera on that are on here today? I think that's interesting. My vote is no. I wouldn't do it. I'd say no, but I'm sure people would. And so let's see who that is. Jesse said the new Freightliners are nice. Okay, Wayne, good morning from sunny Oakland. I love it. Leaving Big Apple, enough of the bumper-to-bumper traffic. All right. Yeah. Were you getting paid by the hour there? Rumpelstiltskin, hello, what's happening? Only road facing will be default. Driver facing is covered unless the driver agrees for the bonus. Yeah, okay. I think that's totally fair. Snowstorm last week. I drove next day to Indy to Effingham, 15 trucks off the road. I hear you. That Monday, look, last week was a total disaster. I'm waiting for a load to come in, but that day it came in late because it was a different driver doing it. And so I left very late, which got me out in the ice. I didn't get home until after 10 in the morning, which is crazy for me. I know everybody's like, oh, Mark, it's so terrible for you, right? And then again, Wednesday I had a different driver on the daytime part of the load, and I didn't get out until 11 o'clock at night, getting home super late. That was one of the longest days, 13 hours and 1 minute. And so for me, that is a long day for me. I know people are saying, oh, poor Mark has to work 13 hours. For me, it's a long day, okay? So it was a pretty terrible week, really. One of the longest days I've logged in probably several years. Schugel's $15,000 sign-in is BS. They have a $15,000 sign-in? It's conditioned on you attaining 10,000 miles a month. I'd love to see about that. Anything under $1.80 and you'd rather deadhead them? It depends where you're going. I mean, what if you got $1.20 to go to a load that paid $2.20? Heading out to York, Pennsylvania for delivery, Andrew. My record as a solo driver in one day legally is 687 miles. I-80 from Jersey to Indiana, going 68. If the roads are good and no traffic, right, and you could just keep rolling, certainly. What's your record non-legally? Big Huge Mike, I have sometimes 4 stops. Oh, forget it, right. Won't be able to do all that. I know more. Don't mind a shorter workday. I agree. 4 stops doing that kind of miles? No way. Donovan can do 600. Can you do 600 with 4 stops, though? That's the problem. That's the problem. See, there's somebody that would take it. Okay, Michael would take the 2 cents. Daycab Gear Jammer says no. So I do think you're going to get some people to take it. Rumpelstiltskin did 647 the other day. Broke your own record. Impressive in a 65-mile-an-hour truck. That is true. Michael Muller, it is Roller Wiener Monday. It is always Roller Wiener Monday. Certainly here every Monday on the show. That's how we roll here. Trucking Journeys would take it. Schugel has a driver-facing camera, so if I was going to go to Transco, why wouldn't I get paid for it? You're for money, and any ways to get more, I'm in. Okay, that's fair enough. Brandon says no, so it looks like we're having about an even go here. My record was 678. Kansas to Amarillo, yikes. Had 2 minutes left. That's super nerve-wracking at the end of the day. Wild Bill has nothing to hide if you want to watch me through the camera. Wild Bill, would you take the extra 2 cents in your current situation? How much would that net you a day? Trucker Dave, 2 cents. Hey, 2 cents is a lot. Over a year, that's $2,000. okay, or more, depending on how many miles you get. So it's not like it's no money. It's money. Cop who's flagging down vehicles would start yelling to stop, but autonomous would keep on trucking because they know they can't be ticketed because they don't exist. Oh, that's very good. I wondered if the truck would just sit there because there was some big accident we're coming up and they're having you turn through a really wide turn where there's plenty of room to get a truck through from the outside lanes. And I guess an autonomous truck might sit there because how does he explain to a truck that doesn't have a driver that it has to turn through this thing? That's part of going to be the problem. There was a thing from Bendix, too, just out the other day talking about autonomous, and they're saying 40 years before they think there'll be trucks widespread to drive themselves around. That's people that are developing the technology for this. Oscar, what's going on? Ready for turkey out here in Miami? Oh, do they do that in Miami? Load Wednesday to Vegas, then home in Phoenix, flying out to Colorado. Wow. With your wife and son for Thanksgiving. Your wife. That's pretty good. Yeah, getting ready here too. Hope everybody is off both of those days. Steel Horse would not turn on for double the pay, right? I'm out. It wouldn't matter. They couldn't entice me with the pay, but I do think people will do it. Headed back from Florida, JJ Godfrey, and it's good to see you again, Steel Horse. Michael Muller, Jay Cannell is back in trucking. All right, I guess that's good. We'll put that out there. Jesse, anybody hear about the driver that caused an accident out of Colorado on I-70? Anybody hear about that driver? I haven't heard anything about it. If this is the accident we've talked about, there was an accident in what did I write down? There was an accident because a bus in Virginia. Did you see that? A truck overturned and a tour type bus, a coach, split the semi in half. Oh my gosh, 19 people sent to the hospital. If that was a bus in Chicago, by the way, they always have 212 people go to the hospital about it. David found a job in Chicago paying 60 cents on 1099. I'm out. They lease $350 truck payment. No, absolutely not. 60 cents for 1099? Holy mackerel. And you got to pay the truck payment? Holy moly. Forget that. Because if you're driving their truck, then no, especially. But this way, no. You can get 60 plus cents as a company driver. Christina, I saw one of those new Freightliners with 3 bunks. Really? Did you see one in person? Why are they so ignorant? 2 students and 1 trainer. When is the trainer supposed to sleep? Oh, the trainer. I've had trainers write to me. A couple of them have written to me that use these trucks. And they said they have the 2 students up and they sleep. Or they'll have a student in the top bunk and they're in the bottom bunk sleeping, and then they have a trainee driving. One guy said, he sent me his check. It was like $2,400. And he didn't drive at all. So that's not bad. Money-wise. It's horrible for the students. They're all quit and everything. Too bad there's a shortage and they can't put people in these trucks. I mean, that's the thing of it, Oscar. Yeah, you meant wife, yeah. GP says we expect half the drivers to take the 2 cents for the camera. Okay, yeah, that seems to like what it's going to be here. So you'll have half the people to get the camera turned on. I think, here's a good question for you, GP Transco. Do you think the camera will save you more than the 2 cents? Because I'm always curious about the camera usage. So from your end of it, you must think it'll save you more overall in money than the 2 cents in fuel mileage and accidents and stuff like that. So what do you think about that? Non-legal record is $750. Oh, that's not that much. I thought it would be more than that. Barbecue trucker for extra pay would try the driver-facing camera just to see how it goes. As long as I could opt out if it became a problem. Oh, that's a good question, GP Transco. Can people opt in and out, or is it an in once and they're in, or can they just in and out the camera? The highway healthy man, you'll take the 2 cents. Yeah, what's all the camera info? So let's get it all. Now we got all these questions about it. Oscar booked 762 in 1 day legally, which I always run legal. That's pretty good. How fast is your truck rolling? Holy moly. I guess if the truck goes faster, you can put more down, which I've always said. JJ, 743 from Piedmont to Miami, 1 day, 1 minute left. Man, now here's some people not running, 58 miles an hour. Is it on constantly? Don't fancy video of me picking my nose appearing on YouTube. Yeah, I haven't seen it on YouTube, although Lytics, who we all know for their wonderful drive cam, says right in their literature that the camera records the last 100 hours. Isn't that awesome? And they keep it so that companies can review it later. That's from Lytics themselves. No matter what companies say they don't record it, Lytics says it's recorded, the people that make the camera. Roger Penske, I do too much snacking and I use my phone for a radio. I'll only Vox, so no. Well, that's true. Look, I use my phone for podcasting. I listen to a lot of podcasts and stuff, so there's always that. And I don't know what they would say if I'm changing podcasts or whatever. They're going to gripe at me about that. So even though I'm not being unsafe, I'm going to try and do 690 today in a 68 mile an hour truck. Man, that is a lot of miles in one day. I'll tell you, that day when I had over 10 hours of driving, I still only did 30 something miles an hour. It was crazy. Where did as usual, I've lost my spot because I'm curious about this camera thing. So, okay, I know how to stop collisions between civilian operators and commercial and make it illegal to interfere with the movement of interstate commerce. Oh, okay. Well, Bill, the money is irrelevant. The camera is mandatory. I have no choice. I know, but wouldn't it be nice if in your situation you got an extra 2 cents for every mile you drove? Autonomous trucks tell if the light is red, yellow, or green. Well, the idea at the autonomous trucks eventually is that all the infrastructure of the country, every red light, everything will have a transmitter, and it will be transmitting its information to the truck. So not only will be able to tell if the light is red or green, the light will be transmitting, I'm changing in 10 seconds, 9 seconds, and the truck will know if it can make it through the light or if it needs to start slowing down early. So the idea is that it'll be even safer and waste less fuel because it won't either be trying to speed up or whatever or hit the brakes at the last second. The driver-facing camera is not a live feed of the driver where anyone at the company can come and watch. It's a 30-second segment that gets activated. I know, GP Transco, that is what they all say. I will tell you, Lytics, the people that make, maybe not your camera, but the people that make cameras say they record 100 hours of it. And JJ Keller, which also does another camera, says you can have a live feed of the driver. That's the people that make the camera. They are the camera manufacturers that say it can happen. Gustavo, has Creed ever apologized to you? No, they said they didn't do anything wrong, and so that's where it's left, and that I'm just a publicity hound, basically, is what they're saying. Adam, autonomous trucks receive traffic information in real time, as cars will be able to communicate in a chain basis, sort of like a domino effect. Yes, every piece of infrastructure and all the vehicles will all talk to each other. I'm going to turn left here. The light is changing to red. There's a stop sign. Left lane's closed. Everything will have to communicate with the vehicle before it can drive itself around. Because road signs get obstructed by snow or whatever, so it can't only have a camera to read the signs. Mark of Excellence, 2,000 a year becomes 35 after it's invested for 10 years. Oh, here, I take the camera and do what I do with all my disposable income, put it away from when you're old and crippled. Crippled, I love it. Crippled. Look, if you want the money, $2,000, you could only just take that and invest it, and I think you'd be good to go if you did that your whole life. Absolutely. That's how JBS does it. On theirs, triggers and speeding too. That's how most of them do it, right? It's got to be triggered by some kind of event, which the company can decide. We want this to trigger it. We don't. It's more sensitive, less sensitive. Absolutely. And you can go to the literature of these camera companies, and they show in their PDF files where they put this out for companies, everything that the camera is capable of doing, including live feeding. Now, I don't know if the camera here at GP Transco is a JJ Keller. They're the ones that I saw that do a live feed. But Lytics records 100 hours of video and saves it at Lytics. And that was told to me to look that up by an astute viewer here, which I did, and very true. How autonomous trucks on the highway, but there's a yield sign? Well, they know where all the signs are because every sign transmits its location, what it's doing, what you're supposed to do, everything. How about making a law that other vehicles yield to 18-wheelers? They wouldn't do it anyway. People can't come down a ramp now. A car, truck, nobody can even merge onto an interstate. So certainly yielding to trucks, I don't know how that would work. The company that manufactures the camera can activate for a live feed as well and have the administrative key to activate, say, by the safety department. Yeah, look, Lytics, if they're recording 100 hours, which is what they say, it has to be on all the time. So absolutely. And that's the camera manufacturer. car to car all the way back for like 10 miles. Oh, yeah, because that way they'll know that there's an accident ahead and all that. That's why it's so many years away before this happens. You can't get you turn a corner, your cell phone goes out. We can't have all these autonomous vehicles that are not able to talk to each other. You could see a big problem with freight getting hijacked with autonomous loads. All you'd have to do is get a few cars to brake check it so it stops. That's an interesting way to do it, right? It could be like the movie Trucks, though, where it just crashes through all these cars. But absolutely, right, if you did it, I guess people wouldn't worry about a camera. They might use a stolen car or whatever. Sure, you'd get the truck to stop. If there's a barrier, it would have to stop, and you could do whatever you wanted with the freight. James Faust is here. Thank you for coming in. It's good to see you, Donovan. I had a driver-facing driver-facing CarMax that can listen to your conversation. What is a driver-facing CarMax? Did you drive for CarMax? And that is true. The driver cameras do have a speaker in them and a microphone. They can listen to you, certainly. Viva Las Vegas. Take lunch at a casino. Since you're going to Phoenix, Dazzo's and Wick up Italian beef. We don't do Italian beef in Vegas. Holy moly. GP Transco says 60 cents for a 1099. Yes. I mean, that's crazy, isn't it? If you look at the benefits of W-2 company driver and added their worth, you'd be earning 74 cents. Yeah. 60 cents at 1099. These companies want to pay you 1099. They ought to at least give you more money for it because you're not getting any benefits. So I think that's way low. Holy moly. 65 and sunny in Denver. Good. And you got a door. Wonderful. Christina, I didn't see the 3-bunk truck in person. Oh, okay. Well, it's probably no better in person than it is on the videos. I mean, come on. There's no room. It's just all people in there. Holy moly. And okay, let's ask you. Would you and 2 guys go in there? What would you think about that? Because they were talking about women in trucking this week as well. So what would you think? They go you and these 2 guys and you go in the truck. What do you say? Good idea? Not a good idea. James, a friend of mine drives over the road and says he misses where he could drive 5 hours and then take a 4-hour nap and drive 5 hours. It depends. I'm never like a napper, so I guess I never really got into that. But some people like to take a nap and then drive again. Yeah, that's true. Those days are long gone. Tell me he could take an 8-hour nap and drive again if he wants to. Oswash. Your employer says drivers don't need a CDL to drive a hydraulic brake straight truck with a gross weight of 31,000. No, it's 26,000 pounds is the weight rating. They just don't need an air brake endorsement to drive the truck. But you will need a CDL to drive the truck over 26,000. Steel Horse, how much does that save on your monthly insurance? That's a good question, right? There's got to be some kind of savings or places wouldn't do it, certainly, because there's a cost to the camera. So, yeah, what is the saving if they're willing to pay a couple cents on for a company? Gross weight's 25 trucker. Hershey, I think 6,001 or something like that. Cash is king. Your ELD record is 670 and off record is 1,015. That's where I thought people would be, right over 1,000 miles, certainly. Oscar's got the truck governed at 75 but only runs 70. But you can put more miles down, especially down south. It's 84% of the gross load and 60 cents company, but it's 1099. By the way, best show on YouTube. Thank you. I appreciate that. That's horrible. Okay, 60 cents is 10. See, company is, you can't be a company driver and a 1099 at the same time. If you're driving their truck, they fuel it, they pick the loads, you only pick up their loads. You're not independent. You are a company driver. They're misclassifying you. It's illegal and it's wrong. They shouldn't be doing it. And you can easily get 60 cents. If they'll give you 60 cents, you can get 60 cents at other places as a company driver and not have to worry about it. Lately, your safety guy's been on your butt about following distance thanks to the I. I always maintain proper distance, but by the book way doesn't work in the real world. Yeah, exactly. We have drivers, because some of our trucks have cameras in them, that I hear about all the time. Oh, they go, you're following too close here. But you can look at the video and see that there's really nothing they can do. Somebody cuts in front of them, camera comes on, they get in trouble. That's why I don't like these that's why I'm just not a fan of the camera. I don't like them. On a Class B, the air brakes is optional, but if I still get it, you should get it anyway since you're there, but it wouldn't be required on that truck because it doesn't have air brakes. Cameras are not about saving money, GP Transco. They don't really do much for the insurance. It's for safety. Distracted driving is extremely common. It is. It is with all drivers. That's true. So theoretically, then, it would save, as like at least a side benefit, it would save money from less accidents, which keeps trucks moving better. I get it. I see that, right. Oh, drivers can opt in and out as they please. That's interesting. All right, good. I had 1 minute left twice this past week. It doesn't bother you. Oh my gosh. I would be freaked out about it. I guess because I'm not close every day, maybe. If you run it closer like that to the end every day, I mean, holy moly. When it went to 10 hours and started yelling at me with 1 hour left, I was all freaked out about it. I saw this ad for 60 cents and $10.99 and called him. He had the spiel down to try to convince you. Yeah, look, that's not a great deal, right? You can't be a company driver and be independent. You're one or the other. My record is 749, but truck would do 75. Well, that's good legal. 724 in a 68 truck. That's a lot of miles for the day. I see why everybody's got roller wiener money here. City truck or truck driving itself, more deaths on the road. I guess that's what people like. People don't like it, but companies, the biggest cost is the driver. So if they can boot your butt out of the truck, they can save a ton of money. GP Transco, where do you place the camera? If you mount your phone to the dash below the view good camera, I can watch YouTube while I drive without you knowing. Only is to put that inside a camera. It's usually on the windshield somewhere at the top. That's normally where I see them mounted. Although an astute viewer last week sent me a picture of their truck and the camera's mounted to the dashboard. And it's like a pod that points right out. It's a foot, maybe 18 inches from your face. I mean, how obnoxious that camera was. It's crazy. And so you can't get out of that one. 712 miles from Kingston, Missouri to Kingdom City to Bennett, Colorado. I made it there with 8 minutes left. That's pretty good. So going to be cameras aimed at dispatchers? No. Well, maybe if the dispatcher's got a bonus. But see, I'm not mad at them about it because you can opt out of the camera. So this is not where, they're forcing the camera. If people are not, if people don't have to do it, it's okay with me. This morning in Southern California, someone testing an autonomous truck. They were testing them. They do test them, right? They're testing in the Southwest, but they're years away from working them. The intersections that have the signs that warn you when the signal is about to turn red. There's some that have a little timer, but they're going to have a little, like a transmitter, and it will transmit to all the vehicles and let the vehicle know. If you're right, GP Transco. If distracted office work caused deaths, then drunk driving, there would be an option for dispatcher. I agree. And we can't, poo-poo the fact that many drivers do drive distracted. How many drivers do I see on YouTube doing live feeds while they're driving? Okay, they're driving. I've seen them answering questions, responding to comments and stuff. That means they have to be reading their phone when they're driving, and we all think that's not right. That's certainly not safe, and drivers shouldn't do it. We should concentrate on driving. There's certainly a problem, and the cameras do end a lot of that because people either comply or get fired. So I see where it is, right? But since it's optional, yeah, sure, I'm in. I wouldn't take the 2 cents, though. I'd be somebody without the camera. So you're saying GPS driver facing? Look, if people, this is probably the first place I've ever seen that pays you for the camera. I will say that. You can get a live feed of the driver camera. I've observed this in the office. Steel Horse, absolutely. Right, absolutely. The companies that make the cameras themselves say that's possible. Did you see the report of the hack on autonomous trucks? They retaped the road and made the truck go right? Yes. All they had to do is change the lines on the road because it was following the lines. That will change in the future because it will be more satellite and GPS based than just reading the lines. This is the best we can do now is the lines. The driver facing cameras are not active and are covered unless the driver opts in. I agree. To have one uncovered, giving him or the 2 cents. It's the only company I've ever seen that gives you 2 cents for it. This could start a better trend in the industry. And certainly cameras that are not active should be allowed to be covered. CFI is one that allows you to cover the camera, certainly. Swift said that. They turned their driver-facing cameras off and said, if you think we're still watching you, cover up the camera because we don't use it. So certainly. My company watches the cameras all the time and tells us it only goes off in an event. Big, huge mic. Right. Companies always say that, but yet the camera makers say absolutely it's possible, and it's one of the suite of things we can allow the companies to do. Gustavo, Mark, who cares if autonomous trucks take our jobs? The Yang Gang will give us $1,000. That's true. You'll get your $1,000 a month, and so you'll be all set. If you had, a couple of adults living in the house, you could probably make a go of it. He's one that really does not like the autonomy, by the way, Andrew Yang. And I don't talk about politics so much, but he is really doesn't like the autonomous anything at all. He's totally against it. So. Trucking journeys, you'd love a SAR with pay incentives for dispatchers. The pay are dependent on how many miles they get the trucks on their board. That gives them a large incentive to get you more miles. Yeah, I never like the kind of stuff because I assume the dispatch kind of like the driver, where a driver has a bonus based on miles, but I can't control how many miles I get. They're given to me by the dispatcher, but then the dispatcher can't control the loads they get because they're given to, him. If there's no load for him to give out, then he loses his bonus too. So I never know how about that kind of stuff. Big Huge Mike says people say otherwise. That's correct. It's a lot of the bigger places that use them say that it's not possible. But when you go to the Lytics or JJ Keller or whatever website, that's part of their sales package. Cash is king. If trucks are going to be autonomous in 40 years, what will I do for the second half of your trucking career? Oh, that's true. I guess you could be... Well, they wouldn't need you to dispatch the trucks either. Yeah, well, you can be a hooker, which should be someone who hooks up the trucks at the yards for, when the autonomous trucks come and somebody has to unhook them and rehook them up. Yeah, so you can be a trucking hooker. Trucking journeys real. I'll only be 64 in 40 years. I'll still be driving. Yikes. Kids these days, keep off my lawn. And I've lost my little thing here, of course. That didn't even sound right after I said it here. I can't... have you heard about trans-text radar in some trucks? They read the speed limit. Yes. And won't let you go over the speed limit and tap the brakes if you exceed. Yes. The same person with their little pod camera sent me about their Zonar system, which is the craziest thing I've ever heard of. And Zonar in the truck. And it reads the signs and everything. Yeah, absolutely. Todd, I'm Mark. Mention one of the regular fight to get the disputes. Thanks for your support. Okay, you're quite welcome. I can't wait until they require everyone who owns a big RV and owns a CD to drive in logbook. Oh, that's the thing of it. You can buy a Greyhound-sized bus as an RV and tow your car behind it on a car license. Weren't those people required to take a physical? Most of them are 90 years old. Michael, better 2 women and 1 man because they can gang up on him and throw him out of the truck. Kenneth P., good afternoon. T-shirt weather down in Laredo, 69. Oh, it's not as warm as I thought. Got the blue parrot. Oh, good. The other day when you went home, and glad to know. All right. Thank you for getting it. All right. J.R. Shugel does use the new Lytics. Nice. 65 and sunny in Benton, Arkansas. We'll make it honest guilty as charged running illegal, and I will never do that again. I ran from Miami to Phoenix. Wow, my wife went into labor. Oh, I've done a lot of these long miles years ago, even though I'm just in my extreme upper 30s. When I was in my extreme upper 20s, I did a lot of that, but not anymore. The cameras record audio. That is true. They have a little microphone in them. Southern and 57 in Southern California. That's awesome. David, thanks. You're the best. I appreciate that. Michael Cole, JBS camera, come on every time you bump the dock. That's a problem. And I heard somebody just the other day here talking that they got in trouble for not having their seatbelt on when they got a dock because they were backing in. So they take their seatbelt off. Apparently they called them in and said, hey, what are you people doing? Why aren't you driving with your seatbelt on? Misty checking and waiting alone, 50,000 pounds of lime at a mine. Well, they should get you in if you're the only one there, right? CPAP Bible Trucker, I'm doing a no shave till spring instead of no shave November. That's best to do all the time. Alexandra, doing great over here. I hope life is wonderful for you. Trucking journeys, all I want in the world is a new style Freightliner, but Smith tells me there's none available. Yikes. You could take that Freightliner I had last week. Steel Horse, your camera captures sound and records it. Yes, that way they... so even if you cover it, the Lytics and all these camera systems, they still listen to you, so they would know if you're on a call or whatever. That kind of bothers me a little bit that they're kind of third-party listening in on your calls, but what they say is, look, don't do a call in the truck, so we can't hear it. So 84 degrees in San Diego. Hope some rain here. You got to put all the fires out that are north of you, certainly. Let's see there. Michael Colson waiting now 29 hours for a load to be approved at a shipper short. That's awesome. Misty, last week your ELD laundry off a personal conveyance to driving, and though my 10 hours off could not be fixed. Why couldn't your company? Oh, because they can't edit driving time. That's right, because driving time is not allowed to be edited by them. I have a piece of electronic tape over your ELD so I don't see the warning at the end of the day. I get 11 hours and try to run 11 hours. Yeah, if you don't see it, it didn't happen. GP Transco, know the news, we hired a third recruiter. Her name is Marissa, and she's awesome. We told her we pay recruiters a salary and not commission. She was shocked. Yeah, I'm always shocked when I see a place doing that. When your company driver that is 1099, they also make you pay escrow, and you won't get that back till when you quit, and you won't get it back after you quit. So you shouldn't need an escrow. You're a company driver. But if you're a company driver, you're not a 1099 driver. The only time I've set your camera off is sliding your tandems. What about autonomous trucks on a roundabout? Oh, they can handle a roundabout. No problem. They already have it already mapped out. Trucking Journeys wants a Western Star with a DD15. 50 cents, so they can arrange that, and at least $2,800. You'll come right now. Well, they'd have to buy your own truck. I don't know if they're up for that or not. What is everybody talking about autonomous trucks? They've been around since the 1800s. They're called trains. Every time I went to the terminal at Western Express, dispatchers were all goofing off. Well, drivers sat waiting. At least the guys at K&B keep in touch with the drivers. Because at K&B, they have to pay you whether they run you or not. So at least you got that. So probably they get on the dispatchers and say, hey, get these people moving. We got to pay them if they're just sitting around. Down low. What do you think about all the companies turning an inward camera on and reducing truck speed cause a minor accident with bumper getting scraped? Not related with the speeding problem. Yeah, I don't like it. I never like the truck interacting and doing something. It should be up to the driver to do something, not the camera, not the system, none of that stuff. When a company does that, right, I just don't like it. But there's more and more of this stuff out here with this stupid radar and sonar stuff and all this. It's crazy. George Costanza, who do I work for? I don't ever say that. Not that there's anything wrong with it. But, right, we try to keep that out of the videos, right? And I don't recruit for places like my own company. So I don't recruit for them. Let them go get their own drivers. Stilskin, seen a young driver with his phone on the steering wheel while driving. Nice. He was watching something, hopefully my YouTube channel, was going to honk, but didn't want to distract an already distracted moron. Yeah, see, and this is, that kind of thing is why you get cameras. We're kind of our own problem in this kind of stuff, really. You know, we're the ones that are being distracted, but, you know, we're doing it. GP Transco said they can only offer Cascadias and Volvos. Dang it. You'd be where you want to be on miles. Yes, that's what I'm saying. You get a raise, but they don't have any Western Stars, doggone it. Day Cab Gear Jammer. I personally won't ever use a driver-facing camera, but I certainly appreciate his approach of sharing some of the break they're getting on insurance. Yeah, look, if they were willing to pay and you get the choice, that's all right with me. Even just that choice, I'm still okay with it, on or off. But with the pay, it's even better. It's an incentive. If you want the money, take it. If not, you don't have to take it. That's fine with me, right? I'm in. K&B is micromanaging. Keep in touch is cool, but don't call me when I'm on your break. Right. I'm sleeping and don't want to do split sleeper. I do think that you shouldn't answer your phone if you're on break. This is at any company. So you shouldn't be answering. Don't answer the phone. When I'm sleeping, my phone's off. Company can call me, but it just goes to voicemail. I saw an ad that paid 70 cents a mile. Of course, it was out of Chicago, but it's $10.99. Well, right. So $10.99 we just assume is Chicago immediately. So 70 cents at least is better. But you can still get close to that. After benefits, you know, right, and how much health insurance and stuff costs if you're to pay all that stuff yourself. What would you really net on 70 if you had to pay health insurance and all these other benefits? GP Transco is thinking of ordering a top-of-the-line Western Star for 1 and 2 million drivers. Wow, that's pretty nice. Would you let them pick stuff out? Oh, you know what? I'd rather take the extra money from that Western Star, personally, and put it in a Cascadia and let me pick some of the stuff out in the truck. How about that? Say you can get this Western Star, or you can put, say, $10,000 of options or $20,000, whatever the difference in price is, in the teal Cascadia. You stick my name on it, and I get all the nice stuff inside. Yeah, I'm in. J. James, right? I'm not. We can't do that, right? We're not certainly higher. Alexandra, trucking hooker. Yeah, I mean, oh no, I never even thought about that. It sounded like a lot lizard. What I'm saying, you just be a trucking hooker. You're out there dropping, hooking the trucks at the yard where the autonomous trucks go. You know, a trucking hooker. When I was a kid, there was a known gangster in our town that rode around with a huge TV in his car. He thought it was hilarious. This was years before distracted driving. Well, we used to have a conversion van when the kids were at home, and it had a TV back there. You couldn't see it when you're driving, but it had a tube TV in it. And did the gangster, he talk like that? Hey, yeah. What are you doing over there? Hey, did he in the pinstripe suit and all? I mean, this gangster, I mean, what kind of a gangster is this? Who's going to pay the lumper fee for an autonomous truck? Oh, we won't need one. The robots work for free in the warehouse, too. They already have those. You should do things to consider about that 1099 company. Yeah. Cadence Premier Logistics taking advantage of new drivers and the shorter training. How much shorter can it be? Yeah, that's a good question, GP Transco. If you're considering a 1099, what are your reasons? Usually when people write to me about 1099, it's because the pay. So the net pay is higher, of course, because if you make $1,500, you get $1,500. So generally the net shows us higher money. So let's see what people think about that. 45 and Sunny in Grand Forks says, Potato Head. I've got my eye on you. Get it, eye. Putting some Rain-X in your truck, preparing to go to Albany. It's not that cold yet, but right, I'll be doing my winter windshield washer fluid video soon. For people that didn't see the other one that I have. Making my own windshield wash fluid as I do every year. Nomad Trucker 1099 looks like more money. It is not. That is correct. Here's a news flash. Autonomous, we're going to keep the paperwork. Trucks could not haul a hazmat load. Really? I wonder if the truck will have to have an endorsement. Some do 1099 to try to hide earnings. Oh, that's good. Trucker Hershey. Try to hide earnings. But like your spouse, your ex-spouse or whatever, judgment, they can still attach part of that money, I think. I don't know about that. Maybe. 1099 is stupid. Either go company or owner op. Yeah, go one or the other. You're trying to split it, but that doesn't work. This is the first time that someone has ever suggested you become a hooker. That's hard to believe. I hear all these drivers make $2,000 plus on 1099. 60 cents a mile, 7 days a week equals $2,100. Well, you couldn't work that 7 days a week. They would say that, but it's $2,100, but not really, right? They're not paying self-employment tax or anything. They're going to have a huge problem at the end of the year. The Critic is in Fort Wayne. All right, not that far, 2.5 hours from here. 1099 does not work well for me once you consider the $1,000 a month insurance. That's what I'm saying. If you bought the benefits that a company driver has, there's no way you really come out ahead. Not at any 60 cents a mile, for crying out loud. The first time Smith called me about hard braking, I told him until I get a ticket, don't call me about this. If they don't like how I drive, fire me. That was 3 months ago and never heard about it again. Do they have a driver-facing camera at Smith? Or is this the front? Is this the goofy front camera still? Andy's World. Getting a front end alignment in Anthem. Oh, and for your Anthem in Kansas City. Glass is slow, so no load right now. Really? Well, at least get that thing lined up. I'm certain the microphone and the camera cannot be used against you because I swore like a drunken sailor to the camera all day and then never been brought to your attention. Well, I don't know what they could use against you. Anything you say or do can and will be used against you, I think. Oscar, they're like, forget it. This is just how it's going to be for Wild Bill. Usually when people consider 1099, it's because they think it's more money, but tax season comes and they make less money. Oh, yeah. I mean, if you have not paid your self-employment tax on that, you haven't set anything aside at the end of the year, you've got a real problem on 1099. When you get 1099 for 70 grand and don't have any withholdings or whatever, you've got a huge problem. Cassius King would like to speak to someone about a Roller Wiener Emporium franchise. Yeah, they're franchising out already. They already have Roller Wiener West on the West Coast and Tampa. So they're looking for new locations, certainly. And I've moved my spot here. And I'm going to go right here. They have to deduct their own taxes and they have to get their own insurance. They have to do all this other stuff. Yeah, it's a disaster. ELT boots you to the drive line moving forward from the truck fuel to the reefer fuel. Oh, wow. Yours is set really low. Companies, it's 5 miles an hour, but companies can set it as low as they want. So maybe at your company, they've set it, instantaneous or whatever. And so then you go back to driving. I will say that when you stop there and fuel after 5 minutes, it puts you back to on duty, and it goes back to the time at which the truck stopped. So that's good. Wow, Bill, that's a good policy you have there. Thank you very much. If they really want to prevent accidents, says Oscar, govern all trucks to 50. And whoever is caught speeding, third strike and before suspension at freight rates high, as well as driver pay. That would drive freight rates up if people lost their licenses. Explaining the benefits to potential drivers of W-2 compared to 1099 is one of the main things your recruiters face every day. I will say partly because of where you are. So you're going to attract a lot more drivers in that area, and they're used to hearing about 1099 in your area. You're like one of the only legitimate companies up there because, as you know, in your neighborhood of the Chicagoland area, there's just a dearth of 1099 companies. Trucks and cars all at 50 miles an hour, that would raise pay, yes. And actually you'd make more because you wouldn't get as poor fuel mileage. Reducing speeds does not improve distracted driving. Well, that's true. At least the accidents wouldn't kill as many people. People may be more likely to be distracted because they have longer before they get to their destination. When trucks become autonomous, I'm going to buy the truck that paint the lines on the road so I can mess with the autonomous trucks. Yeah, some of it is just tape. Just go get yourself some white tape. That's all. There is a video about this out there, and that's all they needed to do. They put down some tape, and the thing went into the other lane of traffic. So wonderful. Michael Muller says smart trucking doesn't like roller wieners. What kind of driver doesn't like roller wieners? That guy drove for years and decades. I can't believe he doesn't like roller wieners. Come on. They love roller wieners over there. They just don't want to admit it. What, did they actually say we don't like roller wieners? I mean, really? And I've lost my spot. Here we go. Okay. And I'm rolling the clicking. No tickets, no accidents, warnings. One registration said I need to get one warning move. How do you do that, Todd McGuire? Yeah, some of that stuff is harder to do. Steel Horse is actually the expert in that kind of thing, but it is possible to do a challenge on that and get things removed from there. It is. Luke, being a trucking hooker, I would be afraid of the system malfunctioning at running over me, thinking I'm finished. I don't know how that would work. Maybe you could take the key. It probably doesn't need a key. Maybe you can pick the truck you want and hire a robot to drive it for you. Oh, that'll be the future. They'll pick a truck, paint it for you, and a robot will drive it. You just stay home. Brandon, what's going on in Louisiana? Roger GP, are you hiring in Phoenix? Used to live up Route 83. Imagine you're the trucking hooker, and then all the autonomous trucks pull off. They'll be honking you to come over. Oh, nice. After 80% of economy is automated, who's going to have money? Well, but this happens all the time. This is always the thing. This is where Andrew Yang says, it's all these jobs will be taken and all that. Not really. I mean, we went from, nobody uses a barge to pull, with donkeys pulling it along the way, even though we have the Wabash and Erie Canal here. We just always move forward and stuff. There'll be other jobs for people to do, just like there are now. Like they make cars still, but there's tons of robots that work in the factory, but there's still people making cars. There'll always be jobs for people. The Western Star would be a great incentive to keep drivers there for 10 years it takes to get the million. Maybe even get some of those to team drive. Yeah, look, I would rather have my Cascadia just upgraded. How about that? Can we just get a Cascadia and upgrade, and we can have a cat break in the middle of that where we see the co-stars of the show and see what they're doing. Bridget's mom is coming home soon, so she will be headed back to her home. But, of course, we still have Gracie here, and she is our cat, so she'll be staying. So that goes over there. 70 cents to 99 is making 46 cents. It isn't great, right? It isn't great money. Did I see May is paying $115 a day and then threw you some bones at the end of the month? Yes, that's better than some. Some are $75 a day. So that's they've actually done better than some other places. Meet the new boss, same as the old boss. I make 60 cents on a W-2. That's more like it, right? So 60 cents at 70 at 1099, that's just your insurance difference. It's super expensive. Insurance is very expensive. Yeah, what about this? What if you had KLLM drivers? That's a very good thing there. They can get tons of miles. So what about that? KLM drivers get 1 million miles in 5 years. Smart Trucking moved their 100,000 subscriber from today to the 22nd since they don't want to be related with Roller Wiener Monday. Did they actually say that? They would move it from Roller Wiener Monday? They should want to do it today. They actually moved it to the 22nd. They have 100,000 subscribers there. That's really good. That must be one of the first trucking channels I've seen with 100,000 subscribers. We delivered donated winter coats. I saw that stuff. 80,000 kids in Chicago are in need will have coats. Cradles to Crayons is the nonprofit. Yes, and that is super good. Talked to Ralph. Didn't like Ralph. He talked too fast and wasn't clear with what he needed. Dang it, Ralph. I like working with 1099 companies because you're your own boss. You could refuse loads and work whenever you want to. If you drive their truck, you're not 1099. We're considering getting Volvo 800 series trucks for our teams. They would love it, believe me. Why and where is I-40 closed? I-40 is closed in North Carolina for westbound, starting tonight at 6 p.m. That's what they said, from mile marker 20 to mile marker 15. Here's the detour. They said take exit 253B, which is 240. All right. Go to exit 4A on that, which is 26 west. Take that 74 miles, oh my gosh, to Tennessee. Get off at exit 8A, which is 81 south, and take that 57 miles back to 40. That will only take you an extra 45 minutes. There's some kind of problem with a bridge there in between those, in the 5 miles, that is like disintegrating, and the whole top of it is coming off, and they have to redo it. It will be all week. After it closes tonight, it will be all week that it's closed. I-40 West closed in North Carolina for 5 miles, but the detour is 45 minutes to go around it. They said, please do not take the local roads and stuff around it. They will be out issuing tickets. Brian Fuller, a lot of drivers want to be paid $10.99 so they could stiff the government. Well, you don't get to stiff the government. You actually end up owing probably maybe even more money. And, you should pay taxes. Stuff is not free that the government provides. Roads and everything, okay, all that stuff costs. So we can't try to hose the government on taxes. But the self-employment tax alone is a lot of money. You have to do all the stuff. A lot of things that you think you can deduct, you really can't. And you're misclassified. You're legally misclassified. So you are defrauding the government on it. Checking in, says Flavio. It's good to see you here. What's happening? Hey, man, it's got warm out finally. Going to be 40 today, unlike last Monday. Smith puts road-facing cameras in the day cabs in Walmart because Walmart are slip seat and they rent you a car to go home with if you live out of state. Why only Walmart trucks? I wonder why that is. I did $10.99 and it cost you $15,000 in back taxes. Right. So do you think you got stiffed Did you think you stiffed the government? Steel Horse is hungry. There is a way to solve that, with Joe's new products, carbonated meat drinks, especially Joe's Cheese, which I think is the best one of all of them. Joe's carbonated meat drinks. Be sure to eat at Joe's. You said your dad always bought the Mercury Colony Park. My parents always got a new Ford Country Squire back in the 70s. I will say, George, that probably in the early 70s, they did start out with a Colony Park, but they started doing better. I think he got promoted to supervisor. Yeah. And we get a Mercury Colony Park. And I guess I've always liked wagons maybe because that. So I had a Electra Estate wagon. I've had a few wagons myself. But right, we would get a Mercury Colony Park every year or two. And they loved that thing. It was super roomy, right? I'd sit in the back. We'd go on trips and stuff. Western Stars have way more space, more reliability, more comfort. Be a huge incentive. I'd prefer the Volvo as always. Steel Horse, yes. You can fool some of the people all the time and all of the people some of the time, but you can't fool roller wieners any of the time. Look into Westerns for teams. How many teams do you have there, really? I didn't know you had teams. GP is ordering day cabs with refrigerators. Really? I thought that was nice for local drivers need a fridge. Holy moly. Where's the fridge going a day cab? Western Stars are better than a long nose speed. A lot of Russian drivers that drive white beat up Volvos in Chicago love 1099 so they can stiff the government. I just don't think you're stiffing anybody. Whenever I talk to drivers that have been on 1099 more than a few months, basically, they all are sad in April. They're like, oh, I was on 1099. Now what do? I made $74,000 and they didn't withhold anything. I'm like, well, now you get to write the government a huge check is what you get to do. Same Drave Trans Freightliner, but with all the best looks. Andy's World, how many miles a week? Mr. Cascade Lover, they need netting on the top bunk. They are idiots. Well, the one I had only has the netting on the bottom bunk. No one teams here. I did 1099 for several years ago, but got many things in my favor from the boss that I could not refuse. I guess if they give you an offer you can't refuse, there's nothing you can do about it. Roller taquitos are like the next generation roller wieners. Wiener 2.0. Oh, I totally agree. And they qualify just as good as any other roller wiener. GP's pay is low compared to the market. I don't even think so. I used to work there at G&P. Good people, but low pay in miles. G&P, but we're talking G&P in the southeast there. That's not a bad place to get started, though. And they even have local runs, so not bad. If this is G&P, like out of the southeast. At Smith, they asked you if you have hard braking event. No driver facing camera, but they are testing speed gauges. Oh, that's almost even worse. My issue with W-2 is that everything is handled for you, most likely for people with low IQ. I personally will not let the government money interest-free. I don't lend them money interest-free either. Last year, I got back $82. So that's one of the closest years ever. Super good. I mean, it's like almost right on the money. So I don't have a ton of money withheld. I don't like doing that either. So that's just over $1, $1.40, $1.60 a week I was off. Not bad. 71 and nice and sunny in Rome, Texas. I love it. If you wear it, make it a parrot. Absolutely. That's the only way to do it. Picking up at General Mills. Had to go back to the dock overweight. Headed to Massachusetts. How much? Captain Crunch? Is Captain Crunch putting the pounds on as he's getting older? Greetings from Canada. We're in harsh winter. What about the USA? Not good for driving. No, it's good driving. Come on down here. Everything is good at the moment. Depends where they send it. It wouldn't work the East Coast for $1 a mile, no doubt. The cat, let's see if I can get a cat going. Here's Bridgie. Bridget is waiting to see everybody, and but Gracie's not impressed with things as normal for a cat. Of course, I screwed that up. All right, let's start again. Cut. Okay. There we go. If you wear it, make it a parrot. All right, doing good here. Where's Steven Spielberg when I need him? I don't know where he went to. He's not over here, that's certainly. I just refused a mass load, heading back to Oil Town instead. Smart Trucking didn't know what roller wieners are? Oh, that guy. Look, I don't remember. I can't remember his name right. That guy's a driver for decades, way longer than me. Okay, he knows what a roller wiener is. I am late. What are we talking about today? Well, I got a few things here about Fox News, about this AB5 too. So I love this. Okay, let me get to this because this is super funny. So they're talking more about AB5, which is going to stop owner-operators in California, and the California Trucking Association is against it, and it's coming in New Jersey. Fox News said the reason that owner-operators like to be owner-operators and independent is because company drivers average $43,680 a year, and owner-operators average $222,608 a year. And they go, so the average owner-operator makes 5 times what the average company driver makes. Okay, that's totally not true. That's gross money. The average owner-operator doesn't take home $222,000. The average owner-operator takes home $60,000, according to OIDA. So they're way off on that. The average owner-operator makes $222,000. No owner-operators netting over $4,000 a week every week after all expenses. That's just not happening. If that was true, everybody'd go be an owner-operator. Mike Scott is here. New account was S2H. All right, good job on the new account. You prefer Taco Tuesdays, George Wilson. Andy's World. Hey, Mark. We've never had any. Our drivers overall seem to not want them. Still horse, any tips on dispute? Yeah, maybe. Yes, make sure you pay your taxes because Egypt needs $3 billion in U.S. support every year. That's correct. We have to support all these other countries. Michael Mueller, once autonomous trucks come out and the infrastructure is able to sustain it, just hack this system and put autonomous trucks into the ditch. Oh, certainly. I mean, is this not ripe for problems when literally everything is connected? City trucker, 24 years as a driver in New York City, and these over-the-road truck companies won't hire me because you don't have experience. That's correct. I'm really over-the-road drivers hate coming to New York City. Yeah, that's true, but because you don't have over-the-road experience, you're like considered a new driver. That's okay, so that's a good reason I guess you're going over there. Cheapy Transco regarding autonomous, we say don't worry about them for many years. Oh my gosh, it takes so long for the DOT to approve anything. These things will take decades. Yeah, like if they had them that were even legit, how long is it going to take before, plus you got to get them approved in every state. How long is this going to be? I mean, we'll all be long dead by this time, by the time this happens. Barbecue trucker just waiting to try Joe's flavored coffee. Oh, right. Meat flavored coffee. It's going to be a hit. I think so. Try the steak flavored coffee, and especially the Salisbury steak flavored coffee. Yes, they said it's in the comments for the notification of the show for Smart Trucking. Wow, that's really something. I just can't believe it. They can, look, they're welcome to have their show today. I mean, holy moly. They should try a roller wiener. We need to get them some roller wieners sent over there. Day cab doesn't have a passenger seat, so they put a fridge in there. That's pretty good. Can someone post a link for the I-40 closure? Oh, I should have done that. Right, yeah. Just type in I-40 North Carolina closure. There's an article about it out there. Jared Shugel is the only one that gave me a break. Unbelievable. This industry is so funny. I mean, isn't that incredible? 24 years and you can't get a driving job? I mean, come on. Personal love Macs are magical simply because of the movie Over the Top. Oh, nice. Well, Mark, your friendly tow truck driver from San Antonio. Corey, it's good to see you. I haven't seen that one. I'll have to check it out. Yeah, I'd love to see a picture of a day cab with a refrigerator in it. I've never seen that. Running late today. Hope I didn't miss roller wieners. You can never miss roller wieners, Mr. President. And it's good to see you here today, Lawrence. Why Canadian trucks come to me? They come down here to get freight to take back up there and build Pontiac Fireflies. Swift keeps sending you to Massachusetts. I think they're trying to build their clientele. Swift sends you over there? Sure, probably because 40 people turned the load down, even though they say you can't turn it down. Probably. Don't forget roller egg rolls. Sure, breakfast. It's good for any time. Edit that out in post-production. D-Boy611. Yeah. In the post will be editing that out, right? My editor will take care of that. The load I picked up last night was loaded on a different truck, and they let him leave, so I had to wait for him to come back, and then it was overweight, so I had to go back and have them rework it. Holy mackerel. What a disaster. Is that how you got the detention on that? Have you ever heard anything about air gas? I was offered $22.07 an hour and 61 cents a mile and home every day, no cap on overtime. I haven't heard a ton about it, but that's not terrible, right? Especially since you get overtime. Another thing Fox News got wrong. Yeah, their owner-operators make $222,608. I don't think so. Not net, right? Not net. Fox News isn't what it used to be. Sad. A little late, but made it to the show. Dragon, it's good to see you. The Critic. Last time I was supposed to head there, I was in Pennsylvania, went to pick up the load. Lot had 24-hour access, but no bills. Nice. So you can get the trailer and can't get out anyway. Steel Horse Teespring. There is a Teespring store for this channel, believe it or not. Mark of Excellence. So, by the way, I wanted to ask, can you make the Stevie Wonder shirt into a sweatshirt? Yeah, I should do that, right? I need to get some stuff done over there. Mark, why aren't you doing stuff? Look, I will say there was only one video last week. It was a disaster. Getting up at 3 or 4 in the afternoon is crazy for me. It was just a really horrible week. Petro and Gaston, it has nasty water. You always bring your own water. I do think you should bring your own water for the time that you're out or buy water because it's different around the country. Dwayne started driving 14 years ago to gain the respect of the motoring public. I'm still waiting. That's... I used to see that on ads. It said, make the big money and gain the respect of the motoring public. I'm like, that is pretty awesome. I'm in for that. Who wants to do this when I can do that? And off to truck school we went. I'm betting they're just making fun of roller wieners. Oh, they have to be because, look, that guy, decades of driving, he's seen a roller wiener or two in his life. Let me tell you what. Hebrew National Flavored Roller Wieners, the answer to a higher authority. Yes. Oh, of course. All the Joe's products are kosher approved. I wish Joe's would make meat scented air fresheners. That would be good. Guys, take it easy on Swift drivers. They can't help. They were born different. Well, people got to start someplace. And like I've put on here many times, that's not nearly the worst company I've found. Not by a long shot. Barbecue Trucker is going to talk to Joe about that. I appreciate it. What's going to do for the 25,000 show? That'll be close to Christmas time, too, where we'll be at our close to 100, because this is show number 95 in a row. So I don't know what we'll do about it at that point, but they'll both coincide very close. You're going to talk about the air freshener, all right? I love Swift. There's some of the few trucks I could pass. No, Prime is the ones that we passed, right? Propane that don't even get dirty, and I love my rolling bomb. People stay away from you, right? It's not super dirty. Not bad, I would say. What do women... so they're doing this thing about women, too, also this week. They're talking about how to make trucking more female-friendly. So any ladies out here I'd like to know, what do you think? What's like the main problem, which I have an idea of what it is, and what would be something to make trucking more female-friendly to get more women into trucking? That was out just this week. There's another bill proposed for this. Of course, they have to have a bill about everything. What's the problem, and what can we do about it to make it better for women so that they'll actually show up and drive? Don Neo Pepe, hey sir, running late but made the show. Do I have a cat? Do I have a cat? Of course, we have a cat. Gracie. She can't believe you don't know that. And Bridgie. Bridgie will be headed home soon. Her mom is coming back, but we'll still have Gracie, of course. Oh, I wanted to put this out there, too. GP Transco's in there answering questions. I should always put this out there. People that want to contact GP Transco, here's a good way to do it. Go check them out right there. How about that? And check out some of their teal-colored trucks. They are good-looking trucks. I should have done that sooner, but I'm not very good at this, so my apologies. Roller wieners, equality for roller wieners. Yeah, I mean, come on. You can't be roller wiener phobic. Are they having wiener phobia? We don't want to have anybody have wiener phobia. Good times to roll. Gear Jammer. More pink trucks. Sure, any color truck you want. More buckets and trucks. What's up? Stanley waving from I-90 Wyoming. Sunny and 57. Boy, that's a change from last week, isn't it? They're critical. How to make it more female friendly? Yeah, there are a couple senator, Congress. I got to look it up right exactly. But anyway, they're proposing a bill to have the FMCSA study how to make trucking more female friendly. What can we do? What can the industry do? How do we attract more women to trucking? Being an owner-operator is great, but it means you really depend on the market conditions, GP Transfer. We have many drivers switch from owner-operator to company and make more money when the market is down. That's the thing of it. I've always said, like this Fox 222,000, a good company driver that's been at a company and that's a good company makes just as much at the end of the day as a good owner-operator. If everything was equal, the owner-operator had to buy all the benefits that a company driver gets. Then you have a tough time making more than the company driver. The only reason they make more is because they don't have any benefits. If you don't survive the explosion, you could have the massive Hot Wheels collection. Extra large wieners, we'd need those. That's all relative, right? And depending on the temperature, right? George Costanza, mark of excellence. I'm sorry to say this, but I'm going to be straight up. A lot of drivers are flat out pervs and disrespectful. I don't see why a woman would want to work, but to each their own. That's kind of what I was thinking. Also, is that women don't want to work where they're basically not wanted or treated poorly at best. And not by companies as much, but by the other drivers. Al Johns, how to make trucking more female friendly? Bluetooth headsets and pink trucks? I don't know about pink trucks. Maybe. And kitchens for baking. Oh, yes. Women love baking. Just seeing if I'll say it out loud. Sure. Al John says women love baking. That's absolutely correct. Yes. The fact is most women aren't built for this. Days away from home, no vacation, holidays. Well, it depends where you are, whether you have vacation or holiday. Long hour, like I'm off on all holidays. Infrequent showers. That's true. Uneasy access to restrooms in a pinch. True. It's tough on men, never mind women. Yes, the lifestyle itself doesn't lend itself to women as well. But it kind of, no vacation holiday. You can work at a place that gives you vacations and holidays. It is long hours. The showers are a problem. That's a problem for men, too. I mean, I don't want to go days without a shower, so uneasy access to the restroom. That's true, too. There are accounts you don't have to own or operate because they would cut too much into revenue. A lot of the owner operators at your company have switched to company drivers. There's not a lot more money. There can be more money in it. When your times are good, then the times are really good for an owner operator. But what about taking vacation? What about insurance, all that kind of stuff? Like next week, I'll be off Thursday and Friday paid. Okay. So I'll be off Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday with 2 of those days paid. I'll still get a full week's pay. An owner operator would have a tough time making a week's pay next week because of the days off. Well, I'll just be home making that. That's what the difference is, I think. If you want to be an owner operator, that's fine, but don't listen to Fox where you're making $222,608 a year, because that's only gross. Some of the absolute best drivers are women. Look, women, I'm not saying women can't be good drivers. Absolutely. More women friendly. How about men never needing to wonder when they will hear a cheesy pickup line? Yes. I mean, I think it's a lot of it, right? Is treatment from the men in the industry, which is almost everybody else. Al Johns, exactly. Always own your quote. Too late to Al Johns. Large group of female drivers is hunting you down with their day cabs and refrigerators. GP does require 1 year of experience and a good driving record. Let's see, Roger Penske. I don't know about that, right? Very few women truckers are under 170 pounds. That doesn't matter. Not many men are that way either. Michael Davis is on your way to orientation. Smith, how are they to drive for? Well, I think there's some people here today that can give you an idea about Smith Transport and what you're going to be facing right there. I think you'll get that pretty quickly here. The fear of roller wieners, look it up. Oh my gosh, did you just add, if you add that to the Wikipedia, I mean, that would just be incredible. If that had its own, Dave, if that had its own Wikipedia page. Misty, encourage more women by hiring less creepy pervs. Oh, I totally agree. I mean, don't you think that is probably the biggest problem? Although I guess women, before they get into trucking, wouldn't know there's a bunch of creepy weirdo guys driving, but they certainly find out quickly. That what keeps women from going to trucking to start with? Just the idea of being gone for weeks at a time. Maybe they're just smarter than we are. How about we can just admit that? They're like, forget that. I'm not doing that. So men are like, I'm in. I'll see you in 7 months. So I don't know. Saw 3 GPs pulled over in 65 near Whitestown through Indianapolis. Really? I go by there every day. Where are all these GP Transco trucks? Why does the GP Transco, why does the market affect the owner operator, not the company driver? Because if I'm paid a mileage rate as a company driver, I don't care what they get. So the market doesn't affect me. I'm not going to lower my pay. No company is going to do that really, because you'll quit. So so when the market goes down, it doesn't affect me. Now, but when it goes up, it also doesn't affect me. If I got a rate at GP of 60 cents or whatever, 55 cents, right? That's what I get. And they have to absorb the market problems. If you want a good local job, look into True Blue Logistics. Saw a little Asian person driving, gal, right? Driving, hey, what about them dames? Come on. They could barely see over the wheel, but she handled the truck nicely. Good. Backed right in, no pull-up. Impressed. That's women that have experience are just as good at drivers as men, certainly. There's always articles about that women are maybe better drivers than men for it. So absolutely, they can be, but there's not many of them. And so they have a bill to get women into trucking. How do we get women into trucking? What are the problems? And how do we get them to come into trucking? This would be for women that are not into trucking, not already doing it. Like you have stories about pervy weirdos, but you can only get those stories once you're already into driving. So how do you get in? How do you get people to get into driving to start with? Al, for the record, you have a wife and 4 daughters. You've encouraged them. They just don't want to drive. Yeah, look, that's okay. Dave from Trucking Answers and me worked for the same carrier in Dave from Trucking Answers. He's from Smart Trucking. He parked his truck and became a local company driver close to where he lives. Right. Yeah, look, he's got the truck. Look, that guy's a driver for decades. I'm not saying anything about that. Absolutely. So I know he's seen a roller wiener. That's what I'm saying. They can't be hating on roller wieners over there. And I'm a subscriber to the channel, so I don't know what you're saying there. The critic, since company drivers are paid by the mile, they get the same amount. Yeah, exactly. but the loads pay less and the company takes the hit. Owner-operators earn a percentage, so it goes down. But also the other side, if the percentage goes up, they would get more money. An owner-operator has the benefit of it, which I guess a company driver on percentage would do the same thing. Michael found a CR England video where the trainer interviewed his students. He's been training 5 days. Going to see if I can email it to you. Yeah. Oh, I've been already training 5 days. He's probably already got another new truck. Finally got to see a teal GP Transco truck. Yeah, I have never seen one in person. I don't know where. I always see a white Volvo. I see white Volvos. I mean, I see their pictures, but their truck's very elusive. Maybe they're too busy always driving around, delivering freight all over the place that I never see them. No bill will fix the root issue, like the one gets said, women are not the built away from who they love so long. Well, nobody should really do that. It's hard enough on guys, but women and their children have a different dynamic. I agree. They don't have to do that anymore. Maybe they don't know that. You don't have to be gone like that like you used to have to be. Maybe they're just smarter than us. And certainly once they get into trucking, let's be honest, they get treated poorly by, not every man, but by a lot of men. They're treated poorly all over that, over the industry. Not great. It's by the drivers. I'll be seeing more of them shortly. We're planning on ordering 100 more. Yeah, let's get these on the road. I want to see one in person. I get paid in roller wieners per mile. That would be really good, depending on how many you get per mile. Oh, Al Gore. We all remember Al Gore, guy invented the internet. He invested in Convoy. Convoy is what's called the Uber of trucking. They are a technology app that will better link trucks with loads. So they got $400 million in funding, and he's a major investor into Convoy. Why? Because Convoy says they're environmental. If they better utilize trucks, semis, there'll be less environmental pollution because the truck won't be wasting as much fuel and stuff driving around when it doesn't have a load on it. So it will be more environmentally friendly. So of all people, I couldn't believe when I saw that Al Gore is a big investor in Convoy, of all things. He might have been in the movie, for all I know. Owner-operators don't typically want to be paid by the mile. That's the reason they became. They decide which loads to take. That's true. Good owner-operator can make way more than a company driver even after you pay for benefits. As a company driver, you're paying for a lot of middlemen to have a job off of your work. Maybe. I mean, it depends. Like I get 5 weeks a year off, you'd have to pay for that. Insurance, which you said is, $1,800 a month or whatever. I remember you doing that in a video. That's a lot of money to consider. And like my truck has been broke down now for some time. So an owner operator would have a problem with that. I just got another truck. I went in and got another truck. I think in your situation, though, you'd get a truck where you are now. But if you for people that like have a title or whatever, it'd be a real problem. I'd be interested to know what what it would be at the end of a year, considering how many days a year a company driver might work versus how many days an owner-operator might have to work to pick up those same type of benefits. They won't enforce laws already in the books. A law for women into trucking, thought police. No, what they want to do is a study to determine better ways to encourage women to become drivers. They're not going to mandate women become drivers where they go to school and grab women out of school and go, you're a driver now. They want to study how to get more women into trucking. In all fairness, I've seen more men complain than women, especially a particular culture of men. Convoy's okay, not great, and that line is crap. That's what they said. And have you used Convoy? You're probably the first one I've seen actually use it. Is it good at matching loads and stuff like that? They are not smarter, just not as tough. Those women take secretary and office jobs, just facts. Well, they don't pay as much. Jobs don't pay as much. And I don't know about the smarter part. Hey, good to see you here today. And I don't know how tough do you have to be to, be gone. Women don't realize that you don't have to be gone anymore. You don't have to be gone. That's the next point. Home daily helps moms and dads. Yes, you're so thankful for your job, home every night, make over $1,000, and it's the same every week. Exactly. But you're home every day. There's what can be said for that. Insurance and other payments plus maintenance adds up. A driver needs to be extremely responsible to make good money as an owner. At the end, I'm saying netting it out At the end of a year, if you paid for all the benefits that a company driver gets at a good job, not where they just offer one thing, that place has 3 trucks, but a good job, I don't know. Wasn't it Pam that was paying owner-operators $1.04? Yeah, some of those companies are up to, J.R. Shugel's in the dollar range. Stevens is in the dollar range. That's pretty good, right? A percentage pay is a bit of a scam. I just don't like it because I don't know if I'm being scammed. I see a lot on I-40. I heard Gracie takes her half-hour break at the fuel island. Can you confirm this? No, Gracie is a good cat. She would never hold anybody up at a fuel island, unlike some drivers. She is always sure to park and take her break properly. Just like that. She always takes her break away from everybody else so that she's not in the way of anything. Let's see. I have a truck here. I got a couple trucks this week as again. Here's a truck for everybody to a gander. Remember this thing running the roads? How about this? This is a 93. How about that? That truck is a 93. So there you go. That truck was common not that many years ago. Okay. GP transfer, you have 4 kids to pay your insurance, take vacations. You make more than you might make more than some company drivers. Owner operators earn 80%, no hidden fees, no trailer fees. Yeah, I don't know if percentage is a scam or not. I just never know, personally from me, if I'm getting scammed because I'm always just worried about it. So if they say 70%, I don't know what they really got on it. Even though they show me a paper, I just don't know it. So I'd rather just get paid. Western Express offered you $1.05 a loaded mile. You laughed and you cried. And if you'd have taken it, there'd have been more crying coming along. I'm sure we can agree on that. Al Gore was in the movie Convoy, but after makeup, he looked just like Chris Christopherson. Oh, that was it. And he had the hair then, too. That's where I thought I had seen him in there. So you've seen numerous teal ones in Pennsylvania. Nice. I never get one out here. I think they send them away from here, so I don't get to see them. Josiah, they loads nobody else wants. Sounds like you're extremely experienced. More power to you. Yeah, exactly. But trucking generally isn't labor intensive. You're a giant wimp, but no touch freight and nothing I can do requires me to lift, really. Yeah. If you get a job like that, that's the way to go. What do I think about drivers carrying bikes in their trucks? I'm thinking of getting a folding bike. Keep your health. Yeah, I think it's great if you want to go riding a bike around. I mean, that's a great way to get some exercise. All right. Emailed it and got the weekend response. Yes, that's Saturday, Sunday, Monday. I'll check it out. Doesn't England pay 85 cents? I don't know what the England owner-operator thing is. Adco, yeah. No, Matt, I had 1 week's training with Western and they wanted me to be a lease operator. Sure, you got plenty of experience. You already know the industry and everything. Okay, Nomad says an owner-operator was $1.10 and 85 cents empty. That's way better, right? I think we can all agree, owner-operators and company drivers, that if you owned a truck and made $1.10, you're not making more than a company driver, certainly. Not many, but not all, but many women do better at working with their mind through further education. With a lot of men, you're not. How many of us truckers have a college degree? Well, if you have a college degree, you're not going to go into trucking, though, right? I mean, it's a one or the other. You don't go to college and then go, I think I'll be a driver. I don't think that, no, where's the hood? Yeah, that was the truck then. The critic, because you say it's 80% but can't prove it. Same where retailers say it's 40% off. That's what bothers me about percentage. I don't know if I'm being scammed. Maybe I'm being scammed. Dwayne says a road commander. Yes, that was one of the last road commanders for the company. You don't want to spend $1,000 a week on their truck? Nice. Blue Lion, hey, what's going on in Texas today? Trucking is case-by-case survival, realistically. Once you realize this job will get you in the top 1% monetary earners worldwide, that'd be really something. All other 9-to-5 jobs cannot compete. Top 1% is, 400-some thousand, maybe worldwide you're saying, but it's for something here in the United States. You can prove it by providing a company with a statement if they ask for it. I'm not saying, and personally, I'm not saying you're lying. I just know that, I could print stuff up. So I'd rather have a flat rate. Give me, okay, here's how much a mile you're getting. Because then you also eat the downside of it. What is the acceptable Rumpelstiltskin protocol for when a driver is braking in the fuel aisle in front of you? I usually honk or knock on the door. Yeah, and I think after that, you yank them out of the truck and move the truck out of the way. I mean, come on. Do not take your break in the fuel island. So that looks like an old Knight transportation cab. Did Knight run this kind of trucks back then? Does England even do owner-operators after the lawsuit? Oh, sure, I'm sure, because then they can try to transfer any liability to the owner-operator as an independent contractor. Michael says, speak for yourself. You have a degree in astrophysics. Okay, that's awesome. We can talk space here in a little while. Percentage pay for owner-operators is a much better system than mileage, Nomad Trucker. Why wouldn't it be a better system for company drivers also then? You know, how about that? If it's better for them, isn't it better for everybody? And maybe it is. Michael Muller's passing a GP Transco on 81 southbound. Oh, what year truck is 20228? And is it one of the teal ones finally? Michael Admin has a degree. All right. What brought you to trucking? What do you have a degree in? And why did you get into trucking? Some companies send you the rate confirmation and pay you as soon as the load's delivered, like trucking, for example. The way percentage can be misleading is when companies say we pay 82%, but it's not the total, which means there are hidden fees taken out. Right. It should be 80% of the total or whatever they're paying. But it turns out it's 80% of 96% because of administrative fees. I-40 closed. You came on late. You're from Raleigh and didn't know. I-40 is closed westbound in North Carolina from mile marker 20 to mile marker 15. So here's the detour. Exit 253B, which is 240 west. Go to 26 west, which is exit 4A. Take that 74 miles, yikes, into Tennessee and get off at exit 8A, which is 81 south. Take that 57 more miles to I-40 again. You're back. It's 45 minutes longer. That's what they said. And this starts at 6 p.m. tonight, apparently, from what it said, and goes all the rest of the week. And they're doing some kind of bridge is like disintegrating. The top of it is peeling off or something, whatever it does, and they have to redo it, and it's going to take them all week. I have a college degree, and I've made more money with your CDL than your degree. Michael, what is your degree in, and why did you get into trucking? Nomad Trucker, my buddy said the one that they're stay, but they're not the new ones. I think I'm off on that one. Okay. It's driven by a driver named Raphael. He says, hi, nice. Was he the guy? Did I just see that guy? Was he the driver of the month or whatever? It seems like that was his name. Maybe not. I believe Al Gore played the part of Pigpen in the movie Convoy. That's a possibility. I'm sure he was in there. That's why he's investing in it today. He goes, I still got to keep investing. Looking to start my new job as a company driver in the oil fields. Water making 27% of $12,000 a week. That would be really great money. And since I went to public school, that's like at least $1,300, right? That's just looking at it. Company public school. Once you make more than $30,000, you're considered a top 1% worldwide. Oh, okay, well, it's like $400,000 in the United States. You have a PhD in dumb. Nice. Don't take your break on the fuel line. That's what the reserve parking is for. Yeah, look, go park somewhere else. This is an every night, every day thing. And some people say, well, Mark, I park there at night. There's nobody there. Well, that's fine. You go to Love's and the fuel lines are completely empty and you're going to sit there. But look, if you fill the place up, be prepared to move. I work Western Flower Express, $1.05 and 20 cents on I-40, $3,000 a week. Only problem, diesel price after New Mexico. $3,000 a week plus at $1.05. So that's like 2,800 miles. So what's a truck payment then? That's a good question. What does the truck cost? If you make gross in $3,000, okay. Had a U.S. depressed at the Loves on I-80 at 168, and he took his 10 in the fuel line. Who does that? Who parks in a fuel line for that long? Only if the fuel line is blocked by a cone. Then you could pull around it and back up to it. And the GP was teal. How come everybody sees these trucks but me? They immediately send them, get out of here. Mark is in the area. Get these teal trucks away from us. I'm horrible at math. That's why I like hourly pay. You don't have to figure anything out. Oh, you took business management. I like the road and travel. That's so you see the country for free. I do flat rate owner operator plus fuel and stop pay. I wouldn't do it any other way. Then you know what you're coming at all the time. That's the way I like it. It's if other people work it out. It's just not for me. Just get a regular BMX bike and put it on the catwalk behind the cab. That's what my dad did when you were a kid and rode to the shopping center and go ride with him, a BMX bike. You also make 90% more than all U.S. citizens. I don't know. Top 10% is what? In the well past 200, right? I think I'd have to look that up. I don't think drivers make that kind of money. I guess if you're an owner-operator, you're making 220, 2608. If you take the detour to not pass, they pull off at the Tennessee line that all trucks are supposed to make. They're normally troopers there all the time. And they also said on this I-40 detour in North Carolina, don't take city streets and stuff to try to avoid this and go around it. They're going to be watching for that. So please take the marked detour. That's what they're talking about. Mike F., hello from a nasty public restroom in Wyoming. Another reason there are not more women in driving. Okay? Dirty bathrooms. Shippers and receivers that won't let you use a bathroom. And they're like, forget it. Men tolerate it for some reason. And women are like, forget it. So going more with the smarter thing, certainly. Rumpelstiltskin, many drivers have degrees and are former military police. Some love the open road. All right. George Wilson, I thought about that, but the road salt and dirt would eat through the frame. Something I would keep inside would be nice. They have these folding bikes. Management degree. Oh, you have a management degree too. You drive for the city of Chicago, and it's a union job with good benefits. I can imagine. GP Transco thinks he went off exit 99. Hope he likes your Pete. Let's see. I have a Pete here today, right? I think. Oh, how about this Pete right here? Here's an ad for a Pete. Plus, I blew it up there. This was the way Pete's look. Did the Pete look like this? It's class. The alternatives seem outdated. How about that? So, did the Pete you saw look like that? Or the Pete you're in, does it look like this truck? The alternatives seem outdated. Anybody remember those trucks cruising the roads? Good for all these drivers with masters and doctorates. I had disciplinary issues. I don't know if anybody has a doctorate. Is there somebody on here with a PhD? That would be something. Maybe you're colorblind. Please be careful being this chat while driving. Do not become a statistics. Yikes. No camera there, right? No, the tractor was in the fuel line, not in front or back of the pulled to FedEx. Look, go park. If you're blocking somebody, you have to leave. Michael uses voice and doesn't touch your phone. I appreciate that. You should be safe when you're doing this kind of stuff, right? I catch Andy's World catches almost live stream listing when you drive. It's awesome to get a chance to participate. Yeah, it's good to have you here. Thanks for coming in. We do this for new people or other people. I do this every Monday at 1 p.m. We're out here live for a couple of hours talking and seeing what's going on in the industry. Trailer orders are up, by the way. How about this? Trailer orders were up 31,900 orders in October. There were 19,000 in September. These are dry van trailers, okay? So they said e-commerce is the reason it's up 13.6%. Where's this recession? Where's the apocalypse? If there's a recession in trucking, why is everybody ordering trailers? What do they think they're going to put in it if there's no freight to put in it? Trailers are not cheap, and they last a long time, so companies are expecting to keep these trailers. So that's really something. And these are not leftovers, they said. These are new orders. New orders. Rumpelstiltskin, a college degree isn't an indication of intelligence. That's true. Mark Zuckerberg, Bill Gates, Steve Jobs dropped out of college. That's true. I'm just curious of people here that have a degree that then got into trucking. My wife is a nurse. Now she makes money. Yeah, good. Growing up, my stepmother was an RN nurse as well. So Roger Penske went to University of Arizona and business administration. All right, a lot of business majors here. You're in trucking because no one will hire an old fart like you? Oh, I don't know about that. Adco likes that Pete? Yeah, how about that? Michael, oh, that doesn't look like your Pete? You don't have this Pete? This is a 352 Pete. So, one Beavis, right? 352 is your favorite. Joshua Knight, 77,000 is top 10%. Really? Of wage earners? The average wage in Indiana is like $46,000. So, I always loved these cab overs when you were a kid. I've never driven one. You missed out. Hello, Mr. President. I know you have a degree. Any info on Universal out of Fort Wayne running daily home for GM? I do know that they paid their drivers for the break. I may have been said here on the show and looked that up during the strike. And no, I don't have anything else. Isn't it hourly out of there, though, for Fort Wayne? They advertise all the time. I mean, hop on Craigslist right now. They probably have an ad for drivers right now. The men put up with terrible jobs because we have to provide women can hold out until they find someone that can take care of them. That's not hardly true anymore. That may be in 1956. You saw that Peterbilt 1 week ago. He had a nice blue color. I have a PhD in roller arena consumption science research. That is a study that we need more people to get into that. Cash is King. I think there'd be more in trucking if trucking companies offered free phone holders to them. Oh, like this? So CFI probably has the most right there. If they got that kind of free phone holder, which is still holding up good, really. Would I take an old cab over for that air ride front axle and semi-flat 4? Yeah, sure. I mean, look, as a company driver, I like a new truck and all that, absolutely. But any truck that's safe, I need air conditioning, all right. At my extreme upper 30s, I want air and stuff like that. But otherwise, I'll take whatever truck they have that's safe and legal to drive that'll get down the road. Okay, so I'm in on it, absolutely. I'm not too hard on them about it, but I do want the air to work. America's the land of opportunity. I guess in California and Jersey won't be true anymore. Well, but here's the thing. AB5 went from California, now Jersey. Who's next? People that are leasing a truck from a company. Not independent people that lease from a company or whatever outside, but if they're leasing from their carrier, like Prime is a big one of this, you've got a problem. If this spreads, you've got and it sticks, you've got a real problem. Roger Penske, congratulations on buying the Speedway. Nomad says no recession capacity is way too high because of everyone jumping in last year. Well, the problem is they sold all these trailers, 31,000 dry van trailers. Somebody's buying trailers. Somebody's thinking trailers are going to be filled with freight. That's ridiculous, a fridge and a day cab. Well, if they're over the road and stay in hotels, that makes sense. Hey, I'll take it. That's pretty nice. I've just never seen one. I'd love to see a picture of a fridge inside of a day cab. You could put your Joe's soda in there, right? So you go get your Joe's soda, put that in there for the day, keep them nice and cool during the day because nobody wants a warm soda. I mean, you want your cold Joe's cheese carbonated meat drink, right? You drive a 2018 567 Peterbilt. Oh, so it's almost like the Pete that I showed. Do I remember when Scania sold trucks in the U.S.? I don't ever remember seeing Scanias here. I did have a Mercedes truck. MBA in library. You have a library degree, really? And now an owner-operator. That's really something. Trailers make more money than the truck. Think about it. The trailer makes some money, but they have to have the money to buy these trailers. Got to put the truck in the wind, Rumpelstiltskin. Thanks for the time. Thank you for being here. I appreciate you coming in. I have an associate's in criminal justice. There's a lot of degreed people driving trucks. I'm way more surprised than something. Trump is making the Democrats look dumber than normal. That's something we can all think about. A lot of guys on the road do the online university route to a degree is something to do while on 34. I don't know the point of getting a degree if you're not going to use it. I do know drivers do it and stuff. I just don't know the point of going to get it if you aren't going to use it for something. Maybe if it's free, it's not a bad deal. I guess learning is always good if it's free, but if it costs you money, there's no point in investing in something that's not going to pay you back anything. Penske in Canada on average pays $23 an hour on all new equipment. That would be a scamazon. Yeah, Star Transport bought new trailers, then closed months later. Why would they do that? What, are they showing some kind of loss to take on a tax to provide benefits to their higher-ups? I don't know how that would work. GP Transco, the CEO of GP Transco is a pilot with a degree in aviation. Really? Did the CEO of GP Transco, does he drive or did he ever drive a truck? And if he has a degree in aviation and is a pilot, what got him into trucking? Does he just like the color teal? Trucker Hershey getting a degree while on a 34. Who has time for that? I would have to quit watching here on Monday. Well, that's true. This should qualify for college credit. What do they teach you in library school? How to tell people to keep it down? They probably do teach the Dewey Decimal System, honestly. But they also, the glasses, you have to be able to wear the glasses properly, all that stuff, yes. Now, we talked about a GMC Astro last week, and I have a picture of the inside. For people that have never been inside of an Astro, this is how it looks inside of a GMC Astro, okay? Right behind you, I'm pointing at it, you can't see me doing that, is the bed. That's a sheet. That's the bed right there, okay? And you are sitting in your little pod, Right here, there's all your controls right there. There's your AC and stuff on the side if it had it. There's your radio, up and down radio. Everything is right there. That is the interior of a GMC Astro. And look at the big, gigantic windshield. Your co-driver, if you have one or somebody with you, is way the heck over there. Your CB goes right there on top of the radio. It sits there next to you. You have a little flat space. That's the inside of a GMC Astro. Now, that was trucking not that long ago. I drove these trucks, okay? So that was not that long ago, and your bed was right there. There wasn't any standing up or anything in the truck. There was none of that. That's why I'm always surprised when people write to me and say, oh, Mark, we're getting this 55-inch truck. It's usually prime. Should I take the smaller truck? Is there going to be enough room in the truck versus the big truck? I'm like, yes, this was trucking not that long ago. So there's absolutely room for you in the truck. Pilot's license is the next one you want to get once you retire. All right, good. Joshua has a master's of business administration from Liberty University. Liberty. Those people on TV know you got in 77 in the UK for free. If it's free, then sure. Greetings from Boonville, Missouri. What's going on? No, man, you got mine at 97. Right, okay, that's TJ Jones in the Bull of the Woods. 2-foot steering wheel? Yeah, because this one, I don't know if it had manual steering or not. It might have had manual steering. That's the problem. Did Pilot Flying J purchase Speedway? Not that I heard of. I believe there also are owners merge the Marathon Petroleum with Berkshire Hathaway. App now shows Speedway locations. Oh, that's interesting. There was nothing in the news or anything. I always check the news on Monday mornings that Pilot Flying J bought Speedways or anything like that. So the CEO does have a CDL and got into trucking after watching his father, owner-operator, being hosed over by companies, and then thought he could do better and build a company that's good to drivers. That's the best way to do it. And I think that's pretty awesome that the CEO has a CDL. How many companies can say that? So he can drive literally anything, right? Car, truck, plane, train, automobile. The guy's basically the John Candy of trucking. To be a librarian, you must be able to put hair in a bun. Oh, great. There'd be a lot of men now that could qualify for that job. Men in quotes, right? Just asked about a CRST usury lawsuit. Really? How would CRST have a usury lawsuit? Usury is excessive interest rate. I've owned a couple of planes, never cared to fly them, though. GM Astro with a 290 Cummins and a Super 10. Fortunately, it doesn't show the stick shift on this one, so we can't see if it has the Super 10. I will say this. It's certainly possible, and that would be incredible. One of the owners of K&B works in the shop fixing trucks. It's what he likes to do. They are second generation. One of the owners works fixing trucks. Can he drive the truck? Does he have a CDL? And the Super 10, we really can't see in this whether this has a Super 10. Mine didn't. I had a straight 10-speed and a gear shift lever that's like a foot long. You know, it's just right there in front of you. Everything is right there. This was trucking. This was trucking not that long ago. Many of you remember that kind of truck being on the road or even having driven it. Okay, so they're taking, what about taking your last check? I wanted to ask people about this too, because somebody wrote to me, an astute viewer. What about taking your last check? He had this problem, worked at a company, gave him notice, but then when he quit, they didn't refund his last check. Has anybody had that happen? And what do you think the solution? I have a solution for a company that withholds your last check generally wrongly. He said they took it for truck cleaning fees, for several other things, and just never gave him any money back. Does anybody have that happen to him? Mark will never make a librarian status. Yeah, you have to be able to read. And so I can't, being a public school graduate, I'll never get to that point. Marathon is always on the Speedway. They're expanding. They bought the Super America chain in Minnesota. Marathon has, but Speedway and Marathon, aren't they combined or something? It's like their gas or something, isn't it? I don't know. I don't go to Speedway because they bother you too much about your stupid Speedy Rewards card. I know that over-the-road driving will always be here, but being in the oil patch for a decade, I don't think I could do it again. Everyone fighting over 1 or 2 cents per mile. Just come here. Well, the problem is you're in the oil field. They wouldn't hire you to be an over-the-road driver. Most places, they consider that you don't have any experience. Isn't that great? So That's the problem. You also are basically out of it due to your lack of experience. Kelly's Transport in Salt Lake City in 2012. Oh, my cousin had a degree for teaching and went into trucking and making way more. That's true. Teachers don't make a lot of money, considering they need an advanced degree, but they don't make much money because they accept a low amount of pay. In Indianapolis, because here in Lafayette and throughout the state, they're going to have a Go Red for education or whatever, where all the teachers are going to go protest down in Indianapolis about making more pay. Well, the problem is they accept the pay that they're making. They had 10 jobs open last year in Indianapolis and had 1,000 applications for those jobs to be teachers. If you can get 1,000 people apply for 10 jobs, 100 person per job, you're not getting a raise. Keep that in mind. You're never going to get a raise when there's so many people that want your job. You can be fired and be replaced immediately by somebody else. So for teachers to want to get more money, it already pays too much because there's a ton of people that want to do the job already. Mark, it pays too much. Yes. If you can get 100 people to apply, you are paying a ton of money. Trucking companies would die if they got 100 applications per job. They would just love it. So when they get 100 apps per person, the pay is already pretty high, or people wouldn't apply for it. Western tried it with you. You threatened them with Texas workforce. I got it in full by the end of the week. Just know your rights. That's the thing. I had a number of people talk about that. I can count to 10, but you have to start at 4. DHT held your last check, but I didn't care. I just wanted away from that company. You have to go apply immediately. I think the way I think you do it to ensure that you get your check is you kind of say like, oh, my grandfather died or somebody died. You might even make up your own obituary and then take that week off as an off week if you're afraid that somebody's going to take your check. And then once you get paid Friday, then you're out of there. So, I mean, that's one way. That's another way to do it because whoever has the money has the advantage. So once you have it, they're not going to be able to get it back from you. This is not all companies by any means, but I get a few of these letters every week and they said, why don't you mention on the show? And I thought that is a good idea. Taking people's check in most states is not allowed. You have to pay people and then try to get your money back or whatever. It isn't any good. You can always just tell them somebody died and take the week off. You have a PhD in manliness from the University of DeVry, Phoenix of New Hampshire online. Is that the one where the bus comes to your house and gives you the degree in person? That's why you can be a trucking hooker. Speedway rewards card is awesome. I get points for everything, but I never have it. And they're always like, do you have your card? No, here's another card. I have like 40 cards. Here's a card. If you don't have a card, here's a card. And they're like, you're going to get 2 cents off a gallon. I'm like, I don't care. Just get me the heck out of here. I only fill up my car once a month, so I don't care. It's 20 cents. But they're like, here's another card. It's just a disaster. So I generally get gas at Meijer. Teachers in Chicago make $100,000 a year. All right. Well, they don't do that in Indianapolis. $100,000, that's not terrible money. T Express buys coffee cup fuel stops. Where's there a coffee cup fuel stop? Western Orientation has 40 people per day for jobs with them. Per day. But the thing is, having 100 people call and 40 people a day, they just take anybody. Because I get these letters a lot from people that, oh, Mark, I'm in orientation, and they sent me home on the second day. They found something in my background. Because some companies, just will bring everybody in and then just disperse the ones that they don't want. And they make you get your own ride home. They make you take a ride, get your own way home. I think if the company brings you, they ought to return you from where they got you, certainly if they don't take you in. People want to be teachers because you're off 3 months a year. It's not a bad schedule, right? Even though you got to buy your own crayons and stuff. That's what they say. Had one company take your check for a bogus reason. Bogus. Told them to count with help from unemployment office. Took them to court and made out well. They had to pay me more than they owed. Yeah. That's what I told this driver too. I said, go immediately file with the state. Show them all your records of everything. File with the state at least. This was in Florida, though. And the problem in Florida is very company friendly. When I looked the law up in Florida, there's really almost no law about what they can withhold at the end for cleaning, for equipment, for just basically anything that they say. There's really hardly anything that you can do about it. So they can say, oh, we're withholding it for this and that, and it's really hard to get it back. Although I still said file, it doesn't cost anything. I'm waiting to see. It'll take a little while and see what they got back. Speedway with the cafes make great chicken, bacon, ranch sub. Who's got time to wait in that long line? And I'm not in there much because I don't put much gas in my car. You love the sheets on the East Coast. We don't have any sheets over here, certainly, so there's none of that in this area. Here is another truck. I always have a few of these pictures now every week. How about this? Where I was on a GMC kick today, I guess. How about the Brigadier? Now, this Brigadier, I think it has a refrigerator in the passenger seat. I'm not sure. Would like to see that. So, possibility that there was a refrigerator for the driver in this truck. You don't see too many of those anymore. You like the Stuckies that are left? I never see any of those. Teachers get a reimbursement loan for supplies. Yeah, I don't, as an employee, I will say this, they're like any other driver or anybody else. They shouldn't have to buy any supplies for their job. The schools should supply that. But you know why they don't? Because the teachers go buy supplies. That's the thing. Being a teacher would be great if it weren't for the kids, or that judge's order. It's hard to teach from 500 yards away, I will say that. QT Quick Trip is the best. You see some of those around. Sheets, other people like sheets. I don't have any here. Chicago teachers give that much to cover bulletproof vests and Valium. You almost need it up there. Did you see this one driver too? Now this was at a speedway. This reminded me because you posted speedway. So he goes to a speedway. There's no truck parking. Okay, so none. There's signs everywhere. Apparently there are 12 signs on the property. They're all over the place. If you park here, you'll be towed away in the name of the trucking company. So driver parks there, goes to sleep. Tow truck pulls up to his truck, knocks on the door, says, hey, you're hooked up. You got to pay me or you're getting towed away. So he went on to gripe about it, saying that it's a big scam. He called the police. Police said, hey, it's not a scam. There are signs. So he had to pay $300 to get basically the truck let go. Otherwise, it would have been $650. Is that a scam or is it not a scam? Because he said, look, his point is, look, they should wake us up or knock on the door and tell us to move. We can't be here. But my take on it is there are 12 signs on the property and there's no truck parking. He just like pulled up out of the way. It's just a speedway with enough room to get a truck in and fuel, but no parking. Is he being scammed by the tow company, who was hired by the speedway, by the way? And I'll tell you this, they said that they stopped doing that. They used to actually give drivers the opportunity to move, but they said that one of their cashiers, teenage cashiers, they said, had a, quote, bag of excrement thrown at them through the truck window when the driver was asked to leave. And after that, since then, now they just hook the truck up and tow people. So is there a scam going on, or is it literally a bag of crap? Public schools are bad. Put your kids in private school. Yeah, if you can afford it, right. Any of those old trucks get good fuel mileage? Yeah, I don't think so. I don't know. I never checked it then. Nobody cared then at fuel mileage. So I had a Brigadier for a while, but it was a city truck. Never checked it. Didn't care. Who had one of these trucks on the road, like maybe that white or whatever? Sorry, I'm late. It's 92 in Laredo, Texas. Nice. I'd be out getting a tan too. Of course, in 4 minutes, I'd be burnt up because I don't get a lot of sun. Andy's World, I've thought about that. Buc-ee's in Texas should have truck parking. They should. So where do you see yourself in 5 years? My goal is to become a hooker. Yeah, I'll be a truck hooker. Same as Walmart parking. And that Walmart store, it had signs as well. But there were other trucks. This one, there weren't. I think for good measure, they should attempt to wake you up first. That's your take. Give driver the benefit of the doubt. There were 12 signs, and the cashier at some point had a bag of excrement thrown at them. And I think that's about enough of that, right? Welcome back. Trucking is slave labor. Just look how we are treated. Almost, right? It's almost indentured servitude for some people. Once you paid your school loan back or stuff, if you tolerate the poor treatment, though, are you not tolerating it? Kind of the same as a teacher or whatever. Because if you if you sit for free or if you tolerate it, you're kind of the one tolerating it, right? I think Walmart should open their own truck stops. I don't know why they don't have truck parking at them, really. Say, here, 2-hour parking in these slots right here or whatever. I mean, they would get more business that way. It would seem like to me. Who agrees that hotshot truckers should have a combination vehicle license? Yeah, I mean, you put 4 pickup trucks on there on a 3-axle trailer pulling behind your 350. I mean, how are you not qualified for CDL with that thing? And I think somebody that would talk about that would be Jay. How about that? Jay at Auto Transport Intel Live, 8 p.m. Central Time tomorrow. He deals with that kind of thing, but I totally agree. He's live on YouTube every Tuesday. Once it's over 26,000, you absolutely, a lot of them scam. A lot of hotshots do scam out of getting a CDL because it's way cheaper. They don't run a DOT number that way. Absolutely. I don't know what the fine for that is. I bet it's really high. There was that story about booting at Walmart where a group of guys would wake the truckers up when they saw the tow truck. That's true. Some farmers, they said it was actually farmers, went into that Walmart and started waking drivers up when the tow truck company would come to boot everybody. I agree, but once there are signs posted and it says, no way, right, you can't park here, then you can't park there. You can't say, well, I'm going to park, and if they wake me up, I'll move. You know, they have a right to not to have people park, certainly. And I think throwing a bag of anything at the cashier is probably not a good plan. Another reason why there's not women in trucking. They don't want this kind of problem. Do you think that cashier, if it was a woman, it didn't say, has that thrown at her? Do you think she's like, wow, you know, maybe I should go be a driver? That seems like a really classy job. Probably not. Mark, what did you miss today? It sounds crappy to you. Yes. There's some Walmarts I've seen in Livingston and some in Texas that have truck parking. It's a city by city thing. Some cities don't allow it. Some Walmarts don't allow it. Anybody that goes by here in Indiana at exit 172, there's a Meijer. They do allow truck parking. So you can go in there and park. You can sleep there all night. On the weekends, people are there the whole weekend. So you can do it. This Meijer still does allow. If you have a Tesla, you can even supercharge there. So you have everything you need at this Walmart. The Critic, there's a guy that just started with Swift. Congratulations. He has a YouTube channel. All right. He's already gotten 2 tickets. Sweet. One for skipping an ag station. Oh, I'm not agricultural. I'm a semi. And with a reefer, and 2 got stuck in a truck-restricted roads. Nice. Hey, I don't have to stop at that ag station. I'm not hauling agricultural stuff. These are paper towels. I don't have to stop there. And he's been booted. That's great. Well, that sounds like a good channel to be watching. We got to check that out. I always call Walmarts if I could park and get the manager's name. And put it in the window. The Walmart in Triadelphia has truck parking spots. Yeah, so some of them let you park there. And getting the manager's name, you got to hope he's still there when they come and boot you, though, right? Skipping the ag station, I'm not mad at the driver if he's new. Okay, since you said he just started Swift, if he hasn't been taught he needs to go in the agricultural station, he may actually not know that he has to go in the ag station if it's open. He's got to go in there. So a restrictor road is another thing. Booting, all right, that's another story. But the ag station, what if nobody told him he's got to go in the ag station if it's open, no matter what he's hauling? So that's the problem. People aren't taught anything because the trainer there probably has just started too. If the driver that part of the Speedway defense, he probably couldn't read English, so the sundry is, I never saw a picture of him or anything. That is also a possibility because, he does kind of acknowledge that there were signs, but he thought that they would wake him up and allow him the opportunity to move. So I don't know about that. Did you sign up for company benefits this year? Did the costs go up? We're still in open enrollment, and I haven't gone to check them out yet. So I don't know if they've gone up. Probably. They go up every year, so I'm going to say yes without looking at them. I don't generally change the benefits, but I am going to see how much they went up. They go up 3 to 4% a year every year. If I'm looking at Walmart parking, I always check the customer service on parking rules. I was once a Walmart manager, so you know the procedure. So can the manager determine that at each store, or is that a Walmart policy, or is that it's probably in some city policies? What's the deal at some of the Walmarts? Who gets to decide that? He knows now. Yeah, that's how he learns, right? Michael, the ag station gives you a red light on your pre-pass. If you have pre-pass, right, you can be red lighted on it. But maybe he thought the red light is only if he had agricultural products, which he doesn't have. He might have been coming out of, maybe it's Florida or whatever, he's coming out empty. Maybe he doesn't have anything on there. Maybe he's only got one apple and it's in the truck. He's going to eat it before he gets to the station. We don't know. Oh, so it's store specific. Okay, so the manager can determine. And I guess if we're leaving a bunch of garbage around, the store's going to boot you the heck out of there. It's the same like this guy at the Speedway. We cannot throw things at the cashier that's coming out to move you out of the way. It isn't right. Nomad said the Florida Ag Station always red lights you. Do you go in there or do you just bypass it? Or you're like, forget this. I don't have to go in this. There's no reason for me to go in there. Would this be a better interior than the Astro? Just wondering how that might, would that look a little bit better than that? That's how times have changed just in a couple of decades from the Astro to this thing. This is more like what you might see today. And, this is more like what we saw not that many years ago. That is the difference. Really something. I'll tell you this, Gracie's not impressed with it at all. I will say that. He skipped nature. He was empty. Okay. The restrictor road, there were signs. There's generally signs, right? He just said he was following Qualcomm. That's true. And that's the problem with these things that the company installs, or even if you buy a truck-specific one, you cannot count on it. You can't. You got booted for parking in a no-truck zone. A no-truck parking, obviously, as he parked. Right. So he got booted. So I'm sure Swift made him pay all those tickets, as they rightly should, but the restrictor road, and he's following the Qualcomm. If Swift gave you the directions, I'll tell you this, I'd really gripe at them. If I'm following the directions they gave me, which are down a restrictor road, I'd say, look, why don't you guys pay this kind of thing? You're still going to get the points on it, but shouldn't they pay for it if the company is the one that gave them the directions? They know they're hiring people, according to him, which you said he just started. So maybe Swift ought to pay some of those fines. He parked in front of a no truck parking sign. That's great. Hey, it's not for me. I go into your flatbed full of steel. If you get the light, you got to go in, or if it's open, right. James Faust loved the Astros. Look, I like it. How about the thing about the Astro, James Faust? Does it not have good visibility? I mean, there's no problem seeing anything in that truck. Plus, everybody can see you. You have to wear pants when you drive it and everything, certainly. West Memphis has truck parking at Walmart, but it's West Memphis. Oh, my God. Never stop in West Memphis for anything. Don't even deliver loads there. There should be like a 10-mile radius. That is a horrible city for violence and stuff. Throwing the bag at the cashier is funny. It is kind of funny if you're not the one receiving it. I do think that's probably not a good plan and probably illegal. I think if the cashier called the police, that's probably not allowed. Gustavo, you have a sticker that states paper logs only. DOT never finds it funny. One officer told me it's false advertising, but didn't know if he could fine you. Well, are you on paper logs legit in your truck? Western makes you follow Qualcomm route. Mine once sent me to a bridge that had been out for 20 years. Some companies require you to follow their route. They give you a route and you must follow it. So I don't know if it's that way. I will tell you this. If they require it there, they absolutely should pay the ticket on that route. They cannot then say, oh, you should have followed a different route. No way. The barbecue trucker just got your sister to subscribe. I appreciate that. Tell her welcome to the channel and tell her to get in on the chat here. Some drivers would park in a no parking even if there were open parking. That's true too. We see this in the winter. I saw this last Monday. So because it's all snowing and icy, the first 3 fuel islands, there's like a line. And then as you get to the end of the field, there's no line. People are unwilling to walk even just a few fuel islands to walk in the building or whatever. It doesn't make any sense to me. I don't go in and get a receipt. So unless I'm going in there, I don't care about it. But even if you need it, just walk in there. It's not that far. Barry just bought a 1985 GMC Jimmy Sierra Classic. Wow. At least the plate would be cheap. Depending on, like here in this state, you have to pay a plate based on the year of your vehicle and what it costs new. So absolutely, that plate in Indiana would be nice and cheap for that thing. James Faust, wonderful view. You could see everything in an Astro. That was the benefit of those trucks back then. There wasn't any problem seeing everything. Vic Vegas. Oh, that sounds like a great name. How can I contact you about a letter received from U.S. Express? They were tricked via an email phishing scam. Your information was compromised. You can, I think, let me look here. Yeah, I think there's an email right there on the screen. There is. I have to do that. I could see it on a different window, so I'll flip that back and forth. GG Joan. Giggity. Yeah. You don't want to be throwing stuff at the cashier. Gustavo. So you're, no, you don't have an e-log. So you're on a paper log? Yeah. I don't know if I would advertise it. I think I would cover that up because it seems like you're poking your nose at them. You know, you're saying, hey, look at me. I don't have to have an e-log. You don't want to draw attention to yourself. But, yeah. I don't think you can get a ticket for the sign. Sign up for identity theft protection. Also parking at parking at Walmart. Park as far away from the doors or around back. Always try to park on the sides. Don't bother the people that are going in there so that we're not getting booted out of the place. You're better off being able to park on the side than they say you can't park here at all. As far as the bag goes, you don't want to play catch. Oh, you know what? If the right cashier, if it was the right person, they should have thrown that bag back at that truck. That was something. Mike F. Yeah, we'll leave that there. Nomad Houston Loves is a bad place to park. They'll steal all your tarps. Yikes. They will steal all your tarps. West Memphis is bad, but look up Pine Bluff, Arkansas. They have a higher crime rate than Memphis. I just don't like the West Memphis. And tarps, you need one of those boxes, which I've seen on some that go underneath that you can lock, although they'll probably break into those things too. At Smith, we get routed, but I don't care about it as long as I hit your fuel stop. Plus, we use Rand McNally, and I've Rand McNally, so you're good. But you, as you probably know, some companies require you must follow this route. So if that's true and they route him down a restricted road and he doesn't know any better and follows that route, they ought to pay his ticket. You should say, you sent me down there. That's where you said I'm required to follow it by company policy. Now you pay the ticket. Oh, Gustavo has an e-log. Why do you have a sign on the truck that says paper logs? Are you just so you kind of are poking right at the DOT then? Only 25 up-to-date tag every year for antique tag. Yeah, it'd be historic here. They charge you the same amount, which for your car I think is $54.50, which is the oldest the plate, the lowest it goes. But the newer your car is, the more the plate costs in Indiana. It goes by the age of your vehicle and how much it was new as a sticker price. It doesn't matter what you pay for it. And then you're put into a category, and that's how much your plate is. It goes down every year for 10 years. And then you're all set in Indiana to get an antique, which is historic here. You have to take the vehicle over to the state police, which fortunately is only about 10 miles away here. They will sign off on a piece of paper that it is in fact an antique and is running. And bingo, you go get your plate. From the state, I had an antique years ago. It was a 71 Chevy. And it was like 27 years old at that time. It must have been 28 years old, 78. Yeah. So I got my historic plate for that car. I'm Barbecue. Kimberly is Barbecue Trucker's twin sister. You're his twin sister? That's really something. Well, welcome to the show, and thank you for subscribing. I appreciate you being here today. Always get a lawyer when you get a ticket. However much they charge, it's worth it for them to make it go away. Yes, always try to get a lawyer. But I think that ticket on that, at least that Swift driver, they ought to pay it if they routed him down that route. Al John says the P bottles are for throwing at other truck drivers only. Have some class. Only at drivers that put LED lights in their old 80s trucks and then drive down the road and blind everybody. Throw it back after lighting it on fire. That's not bad too. I had a tarp stolen in Chicago. I mean, this is probably another driver. Do we have to steal from each other? Isn't there enough other people we can steal from? I've seen other drivers get fired for getting stuck while following the Qualcomm. Swiss says it's the driver's responsibility to be aware of signs. Okay, the critic, I agree. It is your responsibility, but some companies, and I don't know if it's Swift, require you to follow their route. They go, here's a route, you have to follow our route. Therefore, if that's a requirement there, they should pay the ticket. Amy, A-M-Y-E, I love it. Is it better to follow road maps or GPS or both? I like road maps. I still say GPS, but I only use Google Maps. Because you can satellite view the road, see where you're going, call the place you're going to, right, and road map it, and then get in that way. Especially the phone call, still important, I think. That's how I used to do it. Many of us on here, before there was GPS, we had no choice but to stand in line at the Flying J and call. And so I'd call, how do I get from the interstate to where you are? And just and get your directions that way. That's how I do it to this day. I'm never 100% on these truck GPSs because you just never know. Michael is also testing the Beta Hammer Truck GPS app from Truckers Report. Still bugs, but a few truck Beta Hammer Truck GPS. Nice, but good so far. Yeah, let us know how it goes. Got to knock on the door first. I don't go to Chicago, so no worries. Hey, I'm not far from there. Family lived up there. That's where I started driving. Right, Chicago, the place to be. Good day, ladies and gentlemen. I got to go. Things to do. Have a safe, profitable week. Thank you for being here. Be safe this week. It's good to know that I'm not the only one who keeps a bag of poop in their truck to throw at some people when needed. Cash is king. Yeah, see, you always think you're the only one until you find out that it's other people. I know, stupid question, but I want to hear what you think about it with your experience. No problem. I think that I don't use a truck GPS because, look, we have a built-in one from Garmin, and it's just horrible. So not a fan of it. Taking you down, not necessarily good truck road. So I'm not 100% on them for sure. Qualcomm doesn't necessarily follow dispatched route. Good, because some companies require that dispatched route. Thank you, Amy, for that. Only tickets I ever got I deserved. Well, that's fair enough. These companies who tell you to follow the route will charge you for out-of-route miles, which is usually illegal. Out-of-route miles are generally not allowed to charge you that kind of thing, depending on the state. I don't like it. Companies that charge you for out-of-route miles, no way. I don't think Swift is one of them. I will say that. I don't think they do that kind of charging thing. Florida has pretty laid-back DMVs. That's good. Women, how about, okay, so I got a few minutes left. Anything else for women in trucking? Because I'm getting ready to wrap it up. Fox News, $222,000 for owner-operators. The New Hampshire motorcycle crash where the guy killed those innocent motorcycle drivers. The insurance company just says to the court, look, we're going to pay $1 million. You decide where it goes. You decide where the money goes. Trailer orders are way up this week to 31,900. Where's my trucking recession been? AB5 suit is going to New Jersey as well. It's going to New Jersey. Look, I told you, if this sticks, this is going to spread. If you are leasing from a carrier, you should be a little nervous right now, a little bit nervous. It will take a while to spread through the country. But if they get enough states like this, it's going to be very hard for a company like Prime. And I mentioned Prime because they do a lot of this leasing. It'd be very difficult for a Prime to lease trucks out when there's, say, 8 states at some point where they can't do business. So that's going to be a real problem for a company like that. I'd be a little bit nervous about it. Al Gore is investing in trucking. Al Gore invests in Convoy? Hard to believe. I-40 West is closed in North Carolina. Don't forget about it. Mile marker 20 to 15. The critic, I had a guy tell me he only uses his Google Maps, said it's reliable because he went from LA to Florida without a problem. I said you didn't have a problem because you only had to take 10 the whole way. That's true. So, Google Maps, you can satellite view your route though, because the address of where you're going may not be where you're going. You need to find, okay, it's the 4th driveway. It isn't their actual street address. You can see where all the trucks are, which driveway. That's what I use it for, kind of final mile thing. You know at night, oh, all right, in 500 feet I need to turn because none of the street signs, they have signs because they've been stolen by gangs, which happens in Chicago all the time. That's why I like Google Maps, and it's free. It's on your phone, and it's on a regular phone, or if you have an Apple phone, you can always throw that phone out and go get a good Android phone and use Google Maps that way. So there's my Android versus Apple. My company gives the suggested route. We're good up to 10% off the route. We can go any way we want. That's good. I look at the route I'm given after my Qualcomm route to match. Exactly. Figure out where you're going first. And the Hammer Truck GPS is for Android and iPhone. Oh, so it's a phone thing. That's pretty good. How much is it going to be, did they say? Then he wanted to tell me how many times he's run into low clearance bridges. Sweet. The Barbecue Trucker headed out. See you next week. Thanks for being here. Our company going green, starting installing solar power, E-Log, but we can guarantee accuracy. Well, some of them do have solar panels on them. Big Huge Mike is going. Good stuff. Be safe and have a good week. Hurry up with all those podcasts. Yeah, thanks very much for that, and thanks for being here. Are the Trez new orders? No, they said these are actually new orders coming in. These are not fulfilled old orders, but these are new orders that they're going to produce. If road closed like I-40, can we ask to get paid more miles? Absolutely. That my company does have that policy that if there's a road closure, you'll be paid the extra miles for going around it. So this, they said, is 45 minutes. So I don't know how many miles, but absolutely, I would get paid more for that here. And a lot of companies do it. So absolutely. Absolutely. And you shouldn't just ask for it. You should get paid the more miles. AB5 is justice for truckers. No more scams. All right, right. It'll keep companies from illegally putting people on 1099. Certainly. Big Huge Mike podcast. Don't know how autocorrect. Autocorrect is horrible. Look, we can't even correct words yet. Trucks aren't going to drive themselves for a while. L. Johns, I found one low bridge while following your company GPS. Always leave the way you came if you're not familiar. Oh, totally. Thank you for that. That is totally correct. However you got somewhere, you leave the same way. That's how you get back to the interstate. And I ask them, too, if I've never been there. But absolutely, the way you came in, that's your way out. You know you can fit that way, right? The courtroom is not the venue to argue with your employer for paying a ticket. Right. They should pay. If they route you, they pay you, I think. I wish Google Maps would adjust time to travel for commercial vehicles. Yeah, that's the thing. It doesn't adjust your time, but it does give you route. Once the Hammer truck is going to be free, once they are done, it looks like Google Maps. Oh, I'd like to see it then. James Files, thank you for being here. It's good to see you. Be safe tonight and watch for four-leggers. Yeah, we've had a couple of people hitting deer lately, so be careful about that. Okay, Wayne, looking for the video on truck hookers. Oh, that's going to be the new thing in trucking. We'll all just become hookers. Nomad tried the Hammer and didn't like it. I never heard of it, so IB5 is going to clean out Chicago. Yeah, once it gets to Illinois would be another one that would do it. It'd be another state that would do it, so absolutely. Wild Bill, another good show. Thank you for being here. I appreciate it. Bridget appreciates you being here as well, as we say. Let's see. I have this white, the Road Commander, really something, right? And the Brigadier, of course. And the Pete's this week, 352 Pete's. How about that? The alternatives are hopelessly outdated. This was the inside of a truck not that many years ago. Holy moly. This is the inside of a truck today. Much better. Much better. That's the way to do it. The bed was right behind you. All those trailer orders are probably from Amazon. Boycott Amazon. Jeff Bezos is the devil. Yikes. I have an Amazon delivery coming in early next week. Yikes. Jeff Bezos. There probably are a lot of Amazon trailers, I agree. It didn't say, but that's a ton of trailer orders because, and that goes right along. You're maybe correct. E-commerce is up 13.6% from last year, and that's why they need more trailers. So you actually could be right on the money with that one, right? Nomad Trucker, I didn't hit the deer hit you. Don't you love when they run inside of your truck? Michael Cole, good show. Thank you for being here. It's Scamazon. Yikes. I had one deer I missed records. The road behind me thought he was suicidal. Sometimes they are. They should have cited the deer for failure to yield. Why don't the deer get any tickets? How do they know just to cross at the signs? They have the signs for deer crossing, but how did the deer know to cross there? It doesn't make any sense. South Texas experienced so many people taking drivers on the road, taking low pay. It's difficult for drivers to earn fairly. Well, it's difficult for anybody to earn a fair pay. It's not just that. I mean, look at Trans Am. An astute viewer sent me an ad they're running this week, 31 cents. Includes per diem. It's what Trans Am is running an ad right now for drivers. And they're taking everybody for that. So when any driver accepts that, it reduces everybody else's pay. 31 cents, including per diem, was the offer and their ad for Trans Am. That is for drivers. That's crazy. You can't, nobody can make any money while someone accepts low pay. But look at all, and believe me, it's not just drivers without a license. How many American, citizen drivers sit without being paid anything? Tons of them. I get letters all the time, tons of them. That doesn't help anybody. Stop sitting around and not getting paid anything. Michael Muller, peace out. Word, be safe. 3:30 yesterday, lot loves full. 3:30 today. All free spots at the TA are full. Then all parking and paid spots at 3 in the afternoon. I love it. Soon they're going to just add more paid spots, right? I like Trucker Path for finding a truck stop when we only have an hour left. Don't use the GPS. I don't get any extra money. Does Trucker Path give you some money for that? Do you have better English than most drivers? That's true. Trucking needs to unionize again. Well, there's only like 7% of drivers are in the union now. And so until people will, stand up and get better pay, that's a problem. Chrome Daddy, thank you for being here. I appreciate it. Wilbun, I need advice. You live in California, and every time I bring my truck home, some local thugs, those thugs, do they walk up snapping their fingers like this too? Throw their cars at you and cut you off. How do they throw their cars at you? They flip me off. What law enforcement agency? Well, probably flipping you off is probably not illegal. To throw their cars at me and cut you off, I would just call. If they're doing something illegal, you'd have to call the police. I do like that they walk up snapping their fingers like this all together. But no, seriously, if some local people are giving you a problem, I would call the police. Take a video of it and call the police. Michael Cole uses Trucker Path all the time. Oh, you don't have any extra money. Oh, okay, right. Not that you're getting it, that you don't have it to give out. Right. Michael Cole says call the CHP. Yeah, call Ponch and John to come out there and check it off, certainly. But if local thugs, right, which is what you said, are giving you a problem, it's just a police matter, right? I think what agency? Like the CIA or whatever, they're not going to do anything. So it's got to be the police. Adco, thank you for being here. I appreciate it. I'm going to head out there and make my company some money, of course. Oh, everybody should join OIDA too. I always say that. Never show that enough. Look, I'm a member. It's the best we got right now, right? Oh, OIDA doesn't do stuff. Look, it's the best we have. There's nothing even close to that kind of membership at the moment. So really, it's the best we have at the moment. There's nothing more we can do about it. So join OIDA if you can. Al Johnson, get a dash cam. I'll be sure to put out a video about being a hooker so you have firsthand knowledge of what it's like being a hooker. Yeah, there's a firsthand knowledge. Absolutely. You giving away my age? Oh, no, I don't know about that. John, Trucker Hershey, oh, you have no idea who they are? Sweet. Oh, mainly for restaurant reviews? Okay, that's good too. So I want to thank everybody for being here today. Al Johns, thank you for coming in. Michael Muller. Of course, Wild Bill for being first on Wednesday. But Michael Muller was first today on the list that I saw on here. So I never know what that goes. Misty, thank you for being here. Amy, welcome. And thank you for being on the show. I appreciate it. The Critic is here. George Wilson, it was good to see you. Cash is King Trucking out there actually being Cash is King, which I love. It's good to see you. JP Transco, thank you for being in the show today. Let's see, where am I at? Kimberly, thank you for coming in. It's good to see you. Golf Wayne, Barry is here. Gustavo, I love seeing you in here today. I love seeing everybody. I'm sure I miss people as always. James Faust, thanks for coming in. Where am I at here? Oh, the Barbecue Trucker was here. Big Huge Mike was here. Hunsley was here. I love it. Mike F., everybody is in here today. Roger Penske, we appreciate it. Oh, and the President, George H.W. Bush was here today. I remember that. Rolling LTL, Trucking Journeys, Nomad Trucker. Everybody was in here today. Thank you for coming in. As always, I have to make my company some money. Everybody should be safe up there. Remember, if people are flipping you off, call law enforcement immediately. And that's it. We're wrapping the show up. Punch and John also were here today in spirit, at least. So we will see you again on the next show. Thanks for being here. Be safe out there, everybody.